giving all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Kar Kodash. And we're going to go right into it. I mentioned we're going to go into, somebody look up, go to Google and look up Dark Winter.
Dark Winter.
And there's a lot of information on it. When you go to Google or Wikipedia, there's a lot of information on it. Because Biden mentioned about the dark winter when he first came into office. But while he was campaigning to be president, and he getting ready to do shit, man.
Let me read.
All right, this says Dark Winter. Let me hold up a second. Dark Winter. I'm sorry, Operation Dark Winter.
Operation Dark Winter, yep.
Operation Dark Winter was the code name for a senior level bioterrorist attack.
Bioterrorist attack. Bioterrorist attack. Go ahead.
Conducted on June 22nd through 23rd, 2001. 20 years ago.
Yeah, June 22nd to the 23rd. That was June, July, August, September. September. What happened in September? September 11th.
Yep. That was the same year, yeah.
Yep.
It was designed to carry out a mock version of a covert and widespread smallpox attack on the United States.
Smallpox. Do me a favor, go look up smallpox.
Smallpox was an infectious disease caused by one of two virus variants, variola major and variola minor. The agent of variola virus, VARV, belongs to the genus Orthopox virus. The last naturally occurring cause was diagnosed in October 1977, and the World Health Organization, WHO, certified the global eradication of the disease in 1980.
Wasn't they supposed to eradicate it during the time of GAD?
In 19, oh yeah.
They use it against GAD, man. You know?
It says the risk of death after contracting the disease was about
That's
30.
A different sign?
Yeah, for now, yeah.
All right.
Yo, Shabbat. It says the risk of death after contracting the disease. It says the risk of death after contracting the disease was about 30%, with higher rates among babies. Often those who survived had extensive scarring of their skin, and some were left blind. Damn.
So this right here is they have it at the CDC. They have all those viruses, diseases, whatever you want to call it. They all have it cataloged, man.
Yep.
So why would you catalog it? Because your plan is to use it again.
Yep.
You know? Go ahead.
Genesis 27 and 39. I'll start at 38. And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother.
And your sword, the sword is their weapons, and their weapons include bioweapons.
Yep.
You know, Esau works through bioweapons. This is a real sinister devil.
Oh yeah. I got another one. Micah 2:1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand. And they covet fields and take them by violence.
Another good one is Psalms 83.
God.
Right now, presently, they're having the UN General Assembly.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep, Micah 2:2. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage.
Our heritage is that we're Israelites. that we belong in the land of Israel. So give me Psalms
83.
83.
Start the first verse.
Yeah.
Psalm 83 and 1. Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh. Hold not thy peace and be not still, O Yahweh. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites, of Moab, the Hagarenes, Gebal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Asher also is joined with them. Ashur also is joined with them.
Yeah, that's where they have the UN. That's where all them different nations come together. And it's called a monolith, you know, one stone. Representation of the New World Order. One world government.
Tower of Babel.
Tower of Babel, yep.
Go ahead.
Ashur also is joined with them. They have holpen the children of Lot, Selah. Do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, as at the brook of Kissam, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb and Zeb, yea, all their princes as Zebah and Zalmunna, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of the Heavenly Father in possession. That's exactly what these devils have done. Like, a good example is the land of Israel. These devils have taken the land of Israel. Okay, you go back into history, you go back to the time of what's it called, the tower, not the tower, but the bridge, the Ark Bridge that Titus built. Now, the original one, they show you a mural of Esau ransacking the temple, taking the silver, the gold, which that's written in the book of Ezekiel, you know? So when I read that verse there, where it says, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of the Heavenly Father in possession. That's exactly what they've done. As a matter of fact, they have us, these people here, they have us in possession through different contracts. Start with the birth certificate, you know, the myriad of contracts that this devil has on us. That's why Yahweh Shai, he got to come and liberate us, man.
And you can hold Ezekiel 36.
Yeah.
Start from the top.
Okay. That's what Yahweh Shai is coming to do. He's coming to totally liberate us from the clutches of this devil, man. Ezekiel, the 36th chapter. Start the first verse.
Start at the top.
Also, thou son of man, prophesy unto the mountains of Israel, and say, ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord power, because the enemy have said against you, aha, even the ancient high places are ours in possession.
The two countries. Over here in America, you got that whole stretch of land from Canada all the way down to Central and South America. Then you got the land of Israel. Yep. Go ahead.
Yeah, the Rothschilds, they even have they got in the city, I forgot which one, if it was Tel Aviv or one of those cities, they got a place called Rothschild Boulevard.
Yep.
Rothschild Boulevard, man. Anyway, reading on, it says, therefore prophesy and say, thus saith the Lord power, because they have made you desolate and swallowed you up on every side. Yeah, these devils, they took everything from us. That ye might be a possession unto the residue of the heathen.
Yeah, so they possessed our land and then they turned around and possessed us. That's why last week we went through Joel, the 3rd chapter. We are those people, man.
Yeah. And we're still, a lot of you jakes out there, you think you're free? just because you live in so-called America, you believe that BS land of the free and home of the brave. Man, there's an old saying, none is more deluded than him that thinks that he's free. That's a true saying.
Con.
You're not free. We're slaves, man. We're slaves underneath this devil, man. And there's many examples that prove we're slaves. One of those examples is the fact that we're using these Federal Reserve notes. Those are debt-bearing notes. There's a saying, how's it go? Gold, what is it? Gold is the currency of kings. Silver is the currency of gentlemen. Debt is the currency of slaves. Okay? So what are we using? Debt-bearing notes. So that proves right there we're slaves.
Con.
Something you wanna bring
I got a
up?
precept.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ezekiel 35:10. Because thou hast said, these two nations and these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it, whereas the Lord was there.
These two nations, that goes back to the history of the split between the nation of Israel. You had the northern kingdom, which was led by the tribe of Ephraim, and you had the southern kingdom, which was led by the tribe of Judah. That's what it means, these two nations, because the nation of Israel was split. So what it's talking about is the whole nation. Go ahead.
Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord power, I will even do according to thine anger and according to thine envy, which thou hast used out of thy hatred against them, and I will make myself known among them when I have judged thee.
Yep. And you know what's going to fulfill that? When Yahushua comes with those angels, pursuant to Daniel, the 12th chapter. Yahushua is going to bring much destruction. And the number one nation he's going to hit is you Edomites. That's pursuant to Isaiah, the 63rd chapter. Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Bozrah? It's talking about our Lord. And our Lord is going to bring war against you Edomites. And he's going to destroy you too. Destroy your power, destroy all those hopes and aspirations that you have for a new world order. All of that's going to go up in smoke, literally, when Yahushua comes back.
Bible precept. This is Revelation chapter 11, verse 3. And I will give power unto my two witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth.
Yeah, we're fulfilling that prophecy right now. We're clothed in sackcloth.
It says these are.
He wants to hear the word. He wants to hear the Bible.
That's it.
It says these are the two olive trees and the two candlesticks standing before the Most High power of the earth.
Yeah, that's talking about the nation of Israel, the only olive tree. Because you got other Israelites saying that the other nations qualify to be the olive tree. No, they don't. The only olive tree is the nation of Israel, the Israelites, all 12 tribes.
And if any man will hurt them, fire proceedeth out of their mouth and devoureth their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed.
That's right. And what's that talking about? The prophets.
Yep.
The time is going to come when the Heavenly Father is going to give his prophets spiritual power. We'll literally be able to shoot fire out of our mouth.
Yeah. Yeah, because the example was going back to who was it? Elijah.
Yep.
When
Yep.
they had sent 3 companies of 50.
Yep.
Actually, it was 2 companies of 50. The third
Third.
got burnt up. If I'm
the
correct.
first two got burnt up.
The third came nice.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I got
Became
it backwards.
humble,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Slacking.
It's all right.
The
It's
2
all right.
companies got burnt up. The third came nice because they saw what happened to the
two
first
companies.
2 companies
Yeah.
of 50.
Came humble.
So you know what I'm saying? So they came humbly. So that was because the Lord was with the prophet, the man of the Lord,
And I believe,
Elijah.
I believe the point you wanted to make is fire came down.
Yes. Okay. Thwada.
Right.
Yes. Fire came down.
He called it down. Spirit.
He prayed for it, and it
If I
came
be a man of
down.
the Lord, may fire come
If
down.
I be a man of
Yeah.
the Lord,
Gone,
let
gone.
fire come down and devour
Right.
the 50.
Right.
And all of a sudden,
Yeah.
Boom.
And
Yeah.
that was, but you know what?
Yeah.
When he came back as John the Baptist, he fell out the truth.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. Check that out.
That's all. That's it.
Yeah, I think that was the point. Dealing with the 2 witnesses, because I heard you mention something about the northern and
Just read something.
Yeah, that was it. That was it.
Go back to
You gotta go back.
Ezekiel 36 and 3. Therefore prophesy and say, thus saith the Lord power, because they have made you desolate and swallowed you up on every side, that ye might be a possession unto the residue of the heathen. And ye are taken up.
Yeah, the heathen meaning all the nations round
That's
about.
it.
So we were scattered literally every place, pursuant to the scriptures. See, the big thing is, I did a video with this woman, is Doja Cat, an Israelite. Most comments said, "Oh, she's definitely an Israelite." Then you had one guy, well, a couple of them, "No, she's a Hamite." You know, and you look at the woman's spirit, you can see that she's an Israelite, man.
Her mom is
So-called Jew, and
Amalek.
the father South African.
Yep.
Because you got South Africans, you got Israelites in South Africa, man.
Yep.
Shaka Zulu might just be very well be an Israelite, man. Any place that we went, we made it great.
Yeah, we're the salt of the earth. Yahushua taught that. Salt brings flavor.
Yeah.
Like you take a plate of food, it might be bland, but if you take some salt and you
Spice
sprinkle
it
on
up.
the food, it wakes the food up. It wakes its
Yeah.
flavor up.
And that proves the people out there like the Michael Jordans, the Michael Jacksons.
Yep.
You know the
LeBron
singers, the
James,
dancers, LeBron Jameses. You know, we put flavor to everything, man. That proves, and that soul is coming right out of mostly America and West Africa and different parts around the world, man.
Sure.
The greatest soccer player that ever lived was Pele, which he was a J.
Absolutely.
So you so-called Jews ain't doing no great things.
Yeah, you really
I have
don't
a
have no
precept.
salt.
Hey, when Jesse Owens went to Germany at the Olympics, he had won all those medals. I believe he won 4 medals, gold medals. He beat the Aryans. Now they said that Hitler refused to shake his hand, which was bullshit. It was the president. I think that was who was the president during the time? But that was the 30s. I don't know if that was FDR.
McKinley.
Huh? Was it McKinley? Okay, it wasn't McKinley. I'll take your word for that.
No, it was Roosevelt.
It was Roosevelt.
Yeah,
Okay,
Roosevelt.
all right, Roosevelt. FDR.
Oh, yeah.
He's the one that refused to shake his hand. So they switched the story up.
Right.
You know, they switched the
Dirty.
story up. Because Hitler shook his hand and invited him in and took care of him, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? And because they wanted to demonize Hitler.
Right.
You know?
Wait a minute. Didn't Hitler say that the Jews were really Schwarzer? They were the Jakes?
Like
I mean,
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what they're saying.
what they
That,
say.
yeah, controversial.
Yeah.
You know, it's arguable.
I mean, I know Gamal Abdel Nasser said that also.
Yeah, well, they're saying they're denying that now.
Oh boy.
You know?
Well, you know what? In this age, one thing that Esau is doing is they're putting a lot of disinformation out there to try to combat the truth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's that serpent that was released. You know,
Okay.
that was that serpent that was released for a period after 1,000 years. It was released to deceive the nation.
What you say? No, man.
No.
We ain't gonna do that.
What?
He felt that vibe.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
I don't go, I'll get slapped around.
Oh shit.
I said,
No.
No, damn, I ain't do it. I hope I didn't. I had a precept. This is
We're not hooligans.
yeah.
No.
We're just checking to see, you know, how he was coming. This is Ezekiel 34, verse 12. It says,
I guess he didn't like us.
I don't think he liked me, because I kind of gave him a.
Dirty look.
Yeah, I didn't know who he was.
You always give people dirty.
No, always. No. I like.
I'll get you on camera, man.
Call you dirty son.
Hey, there was a karate movie named Dirty Home.
No, I love
Oh,
people. I
man.
love
Now you know that,
people.
right? There was a karate movie named
And
Dirty Home.
Oh,
Sounds
shit.
crazy.
Hey, you know that's gonna be the new
I
one.
know it sounds great.
It sounds dirty.
It sounds.
Come on, let's
This
go.
is Ezekiel 34, verse 12. It says, "A shepherd seeketh out his flock in the day that he is among his sheep that are scattered," because that's why Yahweh Shai came to bring back again those that were, you know, pretty much
Seek that which was lost.
lost. First, everybody in their order, the 12, of course, then everybody else. You know. It says, "So will I seek out my sheep, and will deliver them out of all places where they have been scattered in the cloudy and dark day. And I will bring them out from the people talking about out of the heathen, you know, the real heathen, the nation, and gathered them from the countries. The United States, America, is one of those main countries, and will bring them to their own land, showing you in the last days we weren't going to be in our land, and feed them upon the mountains of Israel by the rivers and in all the inhabited places of the country, showing you that we weren't going to be in our land in the last days. We're going to be scattered everywhere but our land, you know?
So if you go to Luke 21, and you can start at the 20th.
Well, we're even scattered there. We're even scattered in the land of Israel. You got Jake's in the land of Israel.
Yeah, they stayed there. You know, you had the Crusades and so forth. You had the Byzantine Empire.
Yeah.
We're all up in Europe. Go ahead, Ak.
Luke 21 and 20.
If I may say, when the scriptures say we're scattered all over the world, it means just that.
Right.
We were scattered all over the world. A lot of you other Israelites don't accept that.
Right.
You still believe every Israelite is going to look like so-called Negro or so-called Puerto Rican.
Right.
Or so-called North American Indian. Because that's what was taught back in the 90s. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, small thinking Israelites, man.
That's why you believe it.
Yeah.
You believe it because it was taught back in the 90s, the early 90s.
Yeah.
But you don't realize this truth is like living water.
Right.
It keeps going to the next level and the next level.
Right.
And if you don't move with it, you get just like water. Water what runs you over, man. You know? Go ahead. Bro.
Luke 21, 20. And when you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Then let them which are in Judea flee
Right,
to the
right.
mountains, and let them which are in the
Yeah,
midst.
that prophecy already happened. That's going back to 67 AD. Going into 70 AD. Go ahead.
And let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter therein too.
Yeah. Because what happened to the Israelites at that time? They fled into north and west parts of Africa.
Yeah,
Really,
they were fled all over the place. They
yeah,
went
that's
up
I was
to
going to say
Europe.
that. Yep. You had some Israelites that fled as far as Japan,
Yep.
China. Okay, a lot of the samurais, Elder Pastor brings
Yep.
that out every time, from time to time. A lot of the samurais were actually Jake.
Yeah.
You had that one samurai, Musashi Miyamoto.
Yeah.
Pastor was telling us he had the look of a half, so-called Japanese black looking dude. All right? So
Yep.
a lot of the samurai, a lot of them were Jake.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, it's like
you got it.
because one time I typed in wandering Jews in the east, and that came up. Jews that went to Japan a long time ago, and they found there was a whole bunch of them keeping the Feast of Tabernacle to this day. But they're remote. You won't hear about them because they're up in the mountains. They're pushed to the corners. You know, they're like Jake, like the curse. But you won't hear about it, and they're dark skinned. They're keeping the Sabbath. They're keeping.
Yeah, well, that's the fulfillment of Hosea 1 and 10.
Yep. But they got the chinky eye, they dark skin.
Sands of the sea,
Yep.
stars of heaven. And this is what Esau's afraid of. That's the real reason why they didn't want the Levites to come into this land, right?
Yep.
These are because they got a spiritual force with them.
Yep.
Esau's afraid of Levi. And Levi, which wasn't even the warriors, they were the priests. And they killed, they took, that's some power, that's some power with them Levites, man.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Some power with them Levites.
They kicked the French out.
They scared to death. They scared to death of Levi, man.
That's why they poor to this day. You know?
Well, that's why they call that landmass, they call it Haiti, which means hell. Because that's exactly what Esau caught when he was trying to colonize them. He caught pure D hell. So he named that land Haiti, which means hell. And actually the whole land is called Hispaniola.
Right.
Half of it is Haiti, the other half is the so-called Dominican Republic. Yep, Santo Domingo, which Santo Domingo means Saint Sunday. Now that's not a nationality for people. There's no such people. The Heavenly Father didn't create Santo Domingo.
Right.
But the Heavenly Father did create Simeon.
Right.
That's your true nationality.
Yeah, Esau put the names on Levi, so you're the Haitians.
Yeah.
You know, Simeon, you're the Dominicans. You know, you're the Sundays.
The Sundays.
Jake is the Negroes, the niggas. when they first came over here, they were called Hebos, which over there in West Africa, you had a group of people called Ebos, which means Hebrew. The Hebrews, man. All this truth is coming out.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm thinking about Sunday. Just thinking about Sunday, that's wickedness. Because that's alluding to worshiping the sun. Sunday. Right? You're supposed to worship the sun, which is against the Holy Scriptures. Deuteronomy, the 14th chapter. The Heavenly Father said not to worship the sun, neither the moon, neither the stars.
Yeah, that's Deuteronomy 4:17.
I'm sorry, Deuteronomy 4:17.
I just remember it.
Yeah.
You can go to it.
Yeah, I'll go there. So, what do you mean by Sunday? Deuteronomy 4,
I believe it's 17.
19.
19.
Deuteronomy 4:19. And least thou lift
What
up
does
thy
17 say?
the likeness of any beast that is on the earth, the likeness of any winged fowl that flieth in the air, the likeness of anything that creepeth on the ground, the likeness of any fish that is in the waters beneath the earth. Wait a minute, we
In other
got
words, you're not supposed to take animals and make
worship
golden
them.
statues and shit and worship them, you know?
Yeah. We got to speak about that. Going back to the so-called Roman Catholic Church. Do you know why that what is it? The Pope? Why he wears that silly-looking hat? It goes back to Dagon, which was the fish god, which was a deity of the Canaanites. The
Gaping
Canaanites
mouth.
worship. What's that?
Gaping mouth on top.
Yeah, the gaping mouth of a fish.
Yep.
So now we just
Yeah, you
read.
Roman Catholics, you don't question that. Well, they're taught not to question anything,
Right.
you know?
Right.
And we went to this one bakery, I believe you was with me, a couple of us, we went to this one bakery by Johanna Bar's old crib, and we started teaching the young girls. We were going into the scriptures with them, and they were kind of getting into it. Like they were Italian girls, I guess. And the older lady came out and said, no, we ain't gonna have that. No, you ain't supposed to, what I should say, cater to what they're saying. You know, it's basically, hey, shalom, Mark. We got
we
the
got
sign.
one.
We got the sign
We
already.
got one.
Okay, you want to take that one? All right.
Yeah, we like that one better. Eh?
All right.
Put it back.
No, yeah, we'll put it back.
Put it back.
I'll put it back.
What,
Yeah, you were saying about
Yeah,
that.
yeah, they're not supposed to entertain those thoughts because in the Roman Catholic institution, just like in the theological cemetery,
Cemetery.
there goes cemeteries.
To show them,
I just wanted to pull that up.
There you go on the fish
So
go
this
off.
is why vocab can't get it because he's trained not to question what he was taught.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, and back then them priests used to wear the whole fish.
Actual fish, yeah.
The whole fish.
The
Yep.
head,
Yeah.
Yep.
you know.
So yeah. So what's up with that?
Yeah.
That's a violation of what I'm reading here.
That's why they got this fish
Yeah.
heads.
Fish head. Yeah.
I
Oh,
think-
also they have they have a decal that looks like a fish, but in actuality it's not really a fish. It's the vagina. It's called the vesica pisces. Like when you see people.
Oh, you're talking about the sign of Christianity?
Yeah, with the fish.
That's not
not a
scriptural.
fish.
That's not
Yeah.
even scripture. They made that shit up. That's some Hollywood bullshit.
Yeah, it's actually the worship of the vagina. A lot of times you see people go like this. You know what they're doing? They're making a sign of the vagina.
That's a good.
Vesica pisces, which a lot of Jakes were worshiping the vagina.
Yep.
When you go back to Apostle Paul, when they were saying, "Great is Diana of Ephesus," they were worshiping the vagina. They were worshiping the entity of the woman
Yep.
with the many breasts
Yep.
and all that. I don't know if you want to jump on that.
No, that's
Yeah, that's even in the scriptures in the book of Acts.
Yeah, great is the goddess Diana.
When they you got to go to it. Go to it. That's
And-
and Acts,
Ezekiel
man,
30.
Acts is a hell of a book. And because all the town people got together
That's it.
and they kept to drown out the
Paul,
Apostle Paul and
Paul.
Barnabas.
Yep.
They said Diana of Ephesus, something like that.
Yep.
And they tried to drown him out, you know?
Yep. Hey, we've actually went through that, man, in Bridgeport.
Yeah. I was just thinking about that.
Oh man, but it was 5 of us. Apostle Rambam was there. And then, guess who was leading the crowd? A nigger woman.
Yeah.
And there was so many people, you couldn't see the court steps. If you go to Bridgeport, Connecticut, if you go to the courthouse, you'll see them court steps. You couldn't even see the steps. There was so many people.
And guess what? All those people are marked.
Yep.
They're going to take the vaccination and they're gonna die. They're gonna get. And all you niggas already see. This is what you gotta understand. There's certain jakes that are already marked for death.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You're already fucking marked for death.
Numbered to the
There's
sword.
nothing you can do to get out of it, man. If you're not of the elect, you're gonna take the charisma and you're gonna get fired up.
That's right. That's
Dang.
right. I got a precept for you, Apostle. Romans 10 and 18. But I say, have they not heard? Yes, verily their sound went into all the earth, and their words unto the ends of the world. So that's us, man. Through the internet, through YouTube, especially.
Who you reading? Acts 1?
You know, I just read a precept for you, Romans 10.
Oh, Romans 10.
Yeah. Romans 10 and 18, I'll read it again. It says, but I say, have they not heard? Heard what? It's truth. Yes, verily, their sound, meaning our sound, which is the Heavenly Father speaking to us, yes, verily, their sound went into all the earth. So there's no excuse. And their words unto the ends of the world.
Through what? Through the web. Through the web.
You was getting Acts?
You got that Acts with the Ephesus?
Come.
Go ahead and read that.
Acts 19 and 21. After these things were ended, Paul purposed in his spirit, when he had passed through Macedonia and Achaia, to go to Jerusalem, saying, after I have been there, I must also see Rome. So he sent into Macedonia 2 of them that ministered unto him, Timotheus and Erastus. But he himself stayed in Asia for a season.
And by the way, keep in mind Timothy, because we're going to speak on Timothy, because if Cornelius is an Edomite, then guess what? Timothy's also an Edomite. So you mean to tell me you had Edomites actually teaching? You know, we had a big thing, you've been watching us, concerning this thing about whether Cornelius is an Israelite or Edomite, which the HOI. And like I said on the video, you brothers got on them guys like they were enemies, like we just gonna, you know, they don't know. You really can't get mad at them. They don't know. The Most High didn't open up their eyes to see it. And when you put them precepts together, you can clearly see that those are all talking about Israelites, man. If you understand, if you precept upon precept.
Yeah.
Well, that's why it said that in Isaiah, precept upon precept. If you just isolated about Cornelius, you can say that. Oh, he was a Italian, he was an Edomite, blah, 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 a so-called white man. But if you read Acts 10 chapter, Acts 11 chapter, then you go into the various precepts and look up the word Greek, as in Acts 16 and 1. Then you know what I'm saying? Then you realize it's talking about the fulfillment of the Israelites that was spoken of in the Old Testament that was going to be called Gentiles, man.
Yeah.
Cornelius was an Israelite.
Yes.
Cornelius was an Israelite.
Absolutely.
And if you can't get it, sorry to say, the Most High haven't opened up your eyes to it, man.
Yeah.
A lot of things he didn't.
So we're not yelling on you guys. You better believe it. No, we ain't doing that. And anybody that did do that, you really ain't supposed to. You're not supposed to do that, because them men are sincere, man. You can see that they're sincere, but they're sincerely wrong.
Right, sincerely lost. Like Chief Ephraim, you made a statement. You said, let me see how you said it. You said there was really no, it didn't make sense that there was animosity between the Israelite foreigners and the Jews. You don't know the history, man.
Right.
Even Apostle Paul said, if I may provoke to emulation them that are my flesh. Now the Apostle Paul was what? He was a Jew.
Yeah.
But when he went to the Israelite foreigners, which a lot of them were scattering of those other tribes, the northern tribes, he was trying to provoke the
Well,
Jews.
really, it's not really even talking about the northern tribes, because the northern tribes are already in the Americas. It was talking about those Jews going back to Maccabees. It was talking about the kingdom of Judah being taken over by the Antiochus Epiphanes, and they forced it. The northern kingdom was already on the other side of the world, and that's what people teach. They're going off on that too.
But wasn't there a scattering though?
Yeah, yes, that's true. But it wasn't a northern kingdom.
Right.
It was just Israelites that were still here.
Right.
All right.
That makes sense.
They were fighting against the Greeks and Antiochus forced them. Now those are Israelites. I mean, those are the southern kingdoms.
Yeah,
Those are the southern kingdoms.
Right.
Yeah,
Now you did have a couple of northern, so you are partially right on that. You know?
Yeah, because you had Anna, because like I did a video. That
Yeah,
was
but what
to talk-
happened to Anna? Why was Anna still in Jerusalem? Because some of them tribes had went back to Judah.
Right.
Right.
Because they knew that Judah was the head.
Right.
But for the most part,
Right.
those people that were called like for example, Cornelius would have had to most likely be a Judite, a Benjamite, or a
Levi,
Levite.
yeah.
Right. Right.
Okay?
Right. Right.
I mean, you're right on that too.
Yeah, we got to bring.
But the northern
Yeah.
kingdom was
Yeah.
already on the other
The
side
majority
of the world.
was over here.
It was
majority-
already over here. So it's
and we
talking
teach
about
that.
those
Yeah.
people that,
Right.
you know what? We can go right back into this. Matter of fact, we're going to go into
Well,
this.
the Maccabees, they were Levites.
They were Levites.
They
yeah.
were scattered, you know. Then you had Judah, Benjamin.
And we're going to go back into the history.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you had,
oh.
if I may say, I'm sorry.
Yep.
A super clue for you brothers out there is James 1:1.
Yep.
When James wrote his letter, he didn't just say to the Jews. James said to the 12 tribes
Yeah,
which are
exactly.
scattered abroad,
Exactly.
greeted.
Yep, yep.
So now you had some of the stragglers. Let's call them stragglers. Now, when I mentioned the northern kingdom, I would have guessed that you guys would understand. I'm talking about Ephraim all the way down to Issachar, because at one time they were called the northern kingdom. That's why I mentioned the term northern kingdom. Then the southern kingdom was who? The Jews. But the point is, you had all those tribes that were scattered even outside of Jerusalem, even in the Lord's day. All right, even in the day of the apostles, even in the day of Apostle Paul and the men that were with him. Now we don't actually know what tribes are, but we know there was
Exactly.
scattering.
Exactly. Exactly. We don't know. This guy was Levi. He was
Right.
this. He was some. You had like you said, Asher.
Right,
It's obvious
Asher,
she
yeah.
goes back to when her forefather said, "We're gonna go back with Judah."
Right.
It tells you a list. I believe Manasseh.
I think it was Manasseh, Asher, and I don't remember if it was
And I
Naphtali.
believe it was some Ephraimites. I believe some Ephraimites got with him too, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not sure, but I know it was like
It's-
three
it's in,
main
It's
ones.
in
Second Chronicles.
It's in Second Chronicles.
I have a
believe
precept if I can
30.
pick it up.
If I may say this, apostles, I was just thinking about Apostle Paul when he said the mystery that's among the Gentiles. That's part of the mystery too. That
Oh, yeah,
some of those
definitely.
other tribes were, because here you had the Jews, like, that guy's a Jew, but he could have been an Issacharite.
Right.
He could have been a Gadite. He could have been a Simeonite. That was a mystery back then, because everybody, the Jews, the Jews, the Jews.
Yeah.
What about the other tribes? There was a scattering of them, but the majority of them did come to the Americas. We can't dispute that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
So
in
you
second
got to
Ezra.
qualify.
Yep.
You
That's
gotta
in
qualify.
second Ezra 13 and 40, 2 Kings 17 and 24. You know? Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know
but-
how you prove? You know how you can prove that some of the Ephraimites went back with Judah? Because when you go to West Africa, you have Nigerians saying that they're Ephraimites.
Yeah, yeah.
Why would they say that they're Ephraimites?
Yep.
Because some of the Ephraimites went with Judah,
Right.
or the kingdom with Judah.
Yeah. I think that was a Lemba tribe.
The Lemba.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think the majority
I think Lemba is Levi. That's what they say.
the majority got caught up with that whole Assyrian captivity, you know, with the rest of the tribes and came over here. Because if not, then why was it mentioned in?
But there was still some
And,
of the northern tribes that was loyal to Jeroboam.
Oh yeah,
It was
yeah.
Asher, Manasseh,
No,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
Jeroboam, I'm sorry.
Asher. Go ahead, read it.
Asher, Manasseh, and Zebulun.
Asher, Manasseh, and Zebulun.
But there was a letter that was written to Ephraim and Manasseh, but only I think it says, nevertheless, divers of Asher, Manasseh, and of Zebulun humbled themselves and came to Jerusalem.
Yeah, yeah. I made a mistake. They were not loyal to Jeroboam. They were loyal to Rehoboam.
Rehoboam.
They
Yeah.
said Jeroboam is going mad. He's going off.
Yeah.
Because Jeroboam, that's the same Jeroboam
Because
that
they
took
knew that there was a king. You know?
That was the same Jeroboam that took the basis of men and made priests out of it.
Yeah.
But it was all in the spirit anyway,
Yeah.
because of the prophet Ahijah.
Ripped the garments.
I don't know who went to Ahijah.
Ahijah.
Went to
Jeroboam.
Jeroboam and
Yep.
ripped his garment
Yep.
and ripped it into 12 pieces.
pieces.
So that was prophesied. That was a
Yeah.
pull of the Most High.
Yeah.
The scattering was supposed to come
Right.
based upon that.
I have a precept of that. This is
Yeah.
St. John chapter 10 verse 16, and it says, "And other." This is Yahweh. This is written in red, so Yahweh Shah was speaking. He said, "And other sheep I have, which are not of this fold," meaning Judah, Benjamin, and Levi.
No. Oh, you mean the fold? Yeah, I got you.
Right. It says, "And other sheep I have, which are not of this fold," because he was sent. Because according to the prophecy in Zechariah, it said that he shall come to the tents of Judah first.
Yep.
Because Judah was, you know, the kingdom of Judah. Judah being the top tribe was chosen, you know, out of all the tribes. You know, that's how the Lord set it up. Because Yahweh Shai was going to come out of Judah, you know? So it had to be done that
Yeah,
way.
so he had to have come to the Americas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it says, and other,
Quetzalcoatl and
yeah, he had,
Kukulkan.
yep, yep.
Kukulkan.
Yep. And it says, and other sheep I have which are not of this fold, them also I must
He
bring.
came to Aslan.
Yeah.
Yep, yep,
Yep. Ephraim, they call him Guamikina.
yep.
The reason why they thought that the Spaniards were him, because they said they saw the glittering armor and the
Yeah.
ships, and they thought that was, you know, the sun shone on their armor and it was glistening. They thought that they bowed down to him until they killed one of them. You always remember his name, Jose something.
Forget,
Once they killed one of them and they let his body rot for 3 days, they said these are not
Gods.
these are not the guys we thought that were gonna come back for us. So then they started revolting against Esau.
A lot of history.
Yeah,
God
it
is-
says, and other sheep I have which are not of this fold, them also I must bring.
And you know what? Yahweh Shemi Shai put the Spirit on us to dedicate ourselves to the history. You know, the Spirit, Yahweh Shemi Shai got on us. We don't leave no stone unturned. We're going to go all up into that history, man. It's almost like we're going to project our minds like we were back there. Because guess what? We were back there. It ain't talking about some foreign people.
Right.
It's talking about us. This is our history.
Right.
We were actually back there doing what the scriptures say, you know, what the scriptures say we were doing. You know, which was teaching,
Hey,
prophesying.
somebody give me first Maccabees 1 verse 11.
You got the other second?
Yep.
And then read down verse 15 and jump to verse 41.
It's like Apostle, First Maccabees.
First Maccabees 1 and 11.
Gotcha.
15. Then from 15 jump to verse 41.
Okay.
Hey, that's how,
253.
if I may say, that's how you got to think. We were actually the people back there doing this
Yeah.
work.
That's our
Now we're
history.
back here to do it again, once again.
Yeah, because our history that Esau tried to steal
Try to manipulate.
and say it was his history. First Maccabees chapter 1 verse 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen. Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem.
That's the modern day gym.
Yep.
Gymnos.
Yep, Jim knows.
And they would work out what
Yep.
ass next.
Showing their gonads.
Yep.
It says, whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the custom of the heathen, and made themselves
That's why they
uncircumcised.
were called by the Jews. The Jews during the time with the apostles, Apostle Paul, and so forth. That's why they were calling those Israelites heathens, because they might have been bald headed, had no beard on their face, had tattoos on them.
Yep, yep.
They wasn't dressing with the Hebrew Israelite garb. They were eating pork.
Togas.
Yep.
They were speaking Greek or any other language,
Latin, yeah.
Latin or any other language, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they said y'all are heathens, man.
Yeah.
I think you said that this morning. You said that this morning. You going the reason why they were called heathens, like modern day today.
Right.
You got Jake with mohawks,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
bald
yeah.
heads, and
Tattoos.
tattoos.
They're
and-
heavy into tattoos, man.
Yep.
They didn't have their beards.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
were Gentiles, like we were always Gentiles.
Yeah.
man.
And it says, led unto these dumb idols, even as you were led. Because that was the undoing. That's what made us unclean, was those damn idols.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest thing that the Most High hated. That's why he said, he spoke about the image of jealousy. The image of jealousy was those different things that Jake was worshiping outside of worshiping the Lord.
That's why ultimately, when you take the Karagma, you're going to have to worship the beast and his image. The image is not a picture of Caesar Borgia and Nathaniel.
Right.
All right?
Right.
You need to stop that shit.
Yeah, really.
Okay? You need to fucking grow up.
Yeah, that's pretty
The
much
image,
it.
the image is talking about the system, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you concocted that whole nonsense just because of your emotion.
Yeah.
You've always been that way, Danny.
Selfish.
Which means you never grew up into a man, right?
when you read, I believe it's in Revelation 13, when it speaks about the image whose deadly wound was healed.
Yeah.
That ain't talking about no motherfucking Caesar Borgia, bro.
Right. When was he?
It's talking about the Roman system.
Yeah. Right.
How you gonna paint a picture? This is a guy that was slain. You want to draw a picture of Caesar Borgia. Caesar Borgia was never slain by a sword and then came back to life.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
The beast is talking about the system. You had the old Roman Empire and you got the new Roman Empire.
That's it.
And the image is the system
That's it, man.
It was
that
revived.
you worship. Worship meaning you do. And there's people that go to church and pretend like they're worshiping and they don't give a shit, but they're doing the active worship. Right? You join the military, you do what the military say, right? Part of the military right now is you got to get the karate, right? So what I heard this yesterday. I think maybe this morning actually. They said that they're having a problem giving these military guys a jab, the jab I say, you know. They said that 2/3 have no problem with it, 1/3 don't have a problem. So that's why Biden made a statement the other day saying anybody that doesn't take it, we're going to court-martial it. Well, guess what's going to happen? They're going to say, okay, we'll accept the court-martial.
Right.
You know? There's people that are staunchly against it, man.
Yeah.
Among the NYPD, it's said, I believe it's either 25 or 33% that don't want to get that job.
I got a precept for you, Pastor.
That's a kingdom divided against itself.
That's a kingdom divided against itself.
I got a precept right here. This is Isaiah.
What's happening around the world? In Germany, in Australia. Now Australia's tired of that shit being locked up and locked down. Now they're fighting against the police.
Yep.
And you know the police are shooting them with rubber bullets now?
Yep.
They're not, there's a great, they rejected in a great way. And it's mostly Edomites. It's mostly Edomites. There's something in their spirit telling them that it's not right. Oh, and another thing, they're saying that Jake is taking it. They said there's a lot of Jakes ain't taking that shit, man.
Yep.
There's more than 50% of Jakes that don't want to take it.
Division.
Yep.
You
That's
remember?
clear division, man.
Yeah.
If a kingdom be divided, it cannot stand.
That's it.
You know?
That's what Yahweh Shai said. So America's done. It's finished. I got a quick precept for you, Romans 11:4. But what saith the answer of the Heavenly Father unto him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. It's like, yeah, like Elder Pastor said, the Vicky Venom, and then ultimately the
Juice.
juice, and ultimately the electronic device. You know what
Potato
that is?
chip.
That is an example of the image of Baal. That is today's example of the image of Baal.
Today's swine.
Yeah. And the Heavenly Father got men that will not, no matter what they do to them, that will not bow down to the image of Baal. Those men are known as the elect.
Right.
We hope that we're part of those men. That's our hope. Like the Apostle Paul said, we're prisons of hope. Because they're going to make it, man. They're going to make it mandatory to where you got to bow down to the image of Baal.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, Saka Apostle. Yeah, so that thing that I was telling you about is called Project Veritas. And it's a group of doctors and top-level doctors and nurses coming out against the jab, coming out against what the government trying to do. You know, and if you look that up, I can't get into it because it's so much, but it's called Project Veritas, which means Project Truth. And there's a whole bunch of them on a top level. These are not your normal people, these like top level doctors and nurses and shit like that, virologists, and coming out that saying this is all a planned thing to kill the people. So y'all can look that up, Project Veritas.
You can match that with the information from Georgia Guidestones.
Yes.
Population.
Maintain humanity under
500 million.
So what does that mean? Presently, there's about, what, 7 billion people?
Almost 8 billion.
Yeah.
Almost 8 billion. So they want to kill off more than 7 billion people.
7.5 billion.
Yeah.
So, and they brought that out in the video Millennium 2000.
Yep.
And then one of them guys said that, I think it was Anthony Hilder, he said, oh, they can do that, they can do that.
Yeah.
Meaning they have the technology to bring it about.
Yeah. Well, like you always used to bring out, Eustace Mullins wrote a book called Murder by Injection,
There you go.
and he brought all that out. That, you know, what was that main cancer hospital out here in New York.
Kettering Sloan?
Yes, Sloan Kettering. It was first
Say
owned
Kettering.
by, I believe, John
slave
Rockefeller.
Yeah, but there was a slave master.
Okay.
He had his slaves. He would cut his slaves open,
Yeah.
experiment on them.
Wow.
Yeah, Alfred B. Sloan, I think his name.
Yep,
Mm.
yep.
And Charles Kettering.
Yeah. And the Rockefeller.
Well, the only thing they do is they radiate your goddamn ass.
Yep.
That's it.
And you wind up dropping dead any goddamn way.
7.9 billion. So that's 8 billion.
Wow.
So they want to kill off. So you look, we just read it earlier, all right? The blessing of Esau was what? The sword.
Right.
Genesis 27 and 40.
Yep.
The sword in the Bible represents destruction. Esau is hell bent on destruction. That's what he represents.
His viruses, his medication,
It's
and
a
so
sword.
forth is a sword.
Yeah.
But it's the actual sword because they got to administer it to you
Yeah,
through the mini sword.
Yeah, baby sword.
Yeah, and they got their poison everywhere. You know, your cleaning products, soaps, shampoos,
Even right now, as we
clothing.
stand here, they got
socks.
the goddamn chemtrails in the air,
Yeah.
man.
Yep.
What do you think? Do you think that's healthy for us? You think that's healthy for our immune system? They're systematically trying to now they might bring us up on a medical
Yep.
misinformation.
Yep.
So fucking.
Hey,
Yeah.
you take a shower, and if you take hot showers, it opens up your pores, and that shit from from the water, from
And
the chemicals.
that's why the Most High is he's gonna move quick.
Yeah.
And
'Cause-
that not the gas, the Paragma is right around the corner.
Yeah.
3 months from now, 6 months from now.
Yeah,
So I
because
have a okay.
because right now they're closing off anybody that ain't taking the juice. The juice works. They're moving. They're closing. They're making it harder and harder for them to operate.
And now the people are fleeing. Give me that. Go directly to that. And Psalm
64.
64. Go right to the fleeing.
Okay.
Can I bring this out real quick?
Go ahead.
2 Corinthians 2 and 11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices.
Now you got to leave.
And the saying that's speaking of, yeah, Satan is speaking about something about the so-called white man. Now we always bring up about the spiritual demon Satan, but who is he operating through?
Yeah.
He has a physical counterpart down here on earth, and that's his children, you know?
That's the God of this world.
Right. The children of the wicked one.
Right.
There was a sign called the children of the wicked one. Now they're here walking around on earth in the flesh. Who are they? You know?
Yep.
It's like that was all one.
This is Psalm 64 and 8. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. So pretty much the people that see what's going on, they're going to flee away from them.
They're gonna get from around getting jabbed up. That's why the police. There's a large segment of the police, NYC, that don't want to take it. A large segment in the military that don't want to take it. A very large segment of doctors and nurses that don't want to take it. And I happen to personally know a nurse and her son, which both of them are in the medical field, and they said they ain't taking it, man.
Yep.
And you would figure if they're working around people,
Right.
that they know it works, why aren't they taking it? Because they know what? They know what's up, man. Well, you mentioned Veritas.
Project
Google it,
Veritas.
Put Project Veritas
Okay.
in Google, see what it says.
Hey, there was a situation with a nurse that she didn't want to take it. She didn't want to take those juice works, and she went through the whole the what you call it, and she didn't get sick or none, helping people that that had it and all that. And then they made her take it, and once she got jabbed up, she dropped dead.
I got a precept for
Go ahead.
Matthew 24 and 22. Well, let me start at 21. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved.
Right.
But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened.
That's the elect.
And we totally understand that scripture because Esau got all these programs of death, trying to destroy as many people as he can.
Go ahead.
So that's why, wait for that noise. So that's why the scripture doesn't lie when it says, except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. It means what it says. But for the elect's sake, which we hope we're part of the elect, that's why we call ourselves the hopeful elect. For the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened.
Yep.
And we're in a time where we want those days to be shortened. We're catching nothing but hell here, man. Every day is nothing but misery,
Yep.
disappointment,
Lousy food.
lousy food, lousy everything.
Like
Lousy
today,
women.
man. Fire burned that goddamn place, that restaurant today.
Man,
That shit
lousy
was
everything,
disgusting,
all right?
man.
We can't
Which
just
one you talking about?
This place we went to earlier in
Upstate?
no
Norwalk.
in Norwalk,
In
Connecticut.
or-
Nasty fucking processed goddamn chicken.
let me put it to y'all this way. Bottom line, we ain't happy here, right?
Nah.
We're not happy here. We're not happy.
On all
Okay?
levels.
We're not happy.
We shall eat our food defiled among the Gentiles.
Yep.
So we want Yahweh Shai. Even the last verse in the script in Revelation 22, is it?
Yep.
The last verse it says, "Even so, Lord, come quickly." That's our attitude, because we know when Yahweh Shai comes, he's going to destroy the society, man. That's
Yeah.
it.
Okay. So this is
I got some real quick
okay,
about
Slack.
Bashar. Isaiah 24:5. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinances, broken the everlasting covenant. Because even when you plant, there's a certain laws you're supposed to follow.
She's happy.
You're not supposed to when you plant, you're not supposed to plant different crops too near to each other, because
Hybrid
they're
seeds.
contaminated.
You're not supposed to have
Right.
hybrid seeds.
The earth is supposed to be given time to rest, like you always speak about the land Sabbath.
Yeah, the land
You
Sabbath.
know,
Yep.
and the proper nutrients is not in the food.
Right.
You know, then you take it and you chemically put stuff into the goddamn food and it mess everybody up.
Well, I got
and then
something
the
back
body can't break it down. So what does the body do? Whatever the body can't break down, it usually stores it as fat for energy.
I got something to back you up. Isaiah 82:5. Psalm 82:5.
Oh man, I had them next.
They know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course.
That's it. Everything is out of course because the devil that's in power is he's not right. His spirit is not right. And everything that he's done pretty much is just to go contrary to the scriptures. That's
And it
why
ain't getting no better.
Right.
It's getting worse and worse every
That's
day.
it.
That so much so that if Yahweh, Baal Shem Yahweh Shai, don't stop it, all flesh will perish.
yeah.
That's why Yahweh Shai said what he said. Except those days be short, there'll be no flesh left to be saved. Now you people can't see it because a lot of you don't know this truth. A lot of you don't have this understanding. If you did, you'd be as mad as we are.
Right. To put a seal upon them that sigh and cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof.
Revelation 12:12, that's another good one. It just came.
You
This
don't
the-
find out, man. We ain't just guys on the corner just running our mouth, man. We're the prophets of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai.
Come.
Hey, the main speak, now we deal with a lot of subjects, but it always goes into the subject of the Yab
Yep.
and the
The chip.
the Karagma.
Yep.
You know, that's why we and it's going to be known, man, that GMS was the only group that was pushing the Karagma.
Yeah.
You know, Revelation 13. Right?
And we ain't looking for no praise and glory because there's a scripture where it speaks about there was a wise man who saved the city, yet nobody remembered that wise
Right.
man because
Wise
he was
poor
poor.
man. Yeah, poor.
Because he was
Yeah.
poor. So we
Right.
ain't look. We
He was
don't
a
get
bum.
out.
He was a
right,
bum.
We're bums. That's us. So we're gonna get our reward and all that accolades. We're gonna get that in the kingdom, which that's rightfully where we should get it anyway.
Right.
Yahweh Shai should get first.
Broad is a way that leads to destruction.
And many.
They be wearing broad ass garments, man.
Yeah.
Them kung fu fringes.
Yeah. Everybody was kung fu fight.
Right.
Yahweh Shai is the first. Yahweh Shai is the first one that should get his praise and glory.
That's right. Yeah,
You
that's
know?
right.
And it goes filters on down from there.
Yep.
Revelation 12:12.
Revelation 12:12. Therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he has but a short time.
Yeah, because he has a zombie, make everybody a zombie. That's what he wants you to do. It tells you in Revelation 18, slaves and souls of men. The slaves and souls of men are the ones that ultimately take take the karate.
Earlier this week, I was watching the movie came out 2015, Terminator Genesis, and in that was a heavy movie because it's pretty much predictive programming. Because they said that I forget if they they said that some type of jab that's changing people on a cellular level, and they said it all the way back then. You know, it was a new system that was supposed to come online called Genesis. It's
I
heavy.
got preset
Predictive
possible, my
program.
man.
Yep.
This is Revelation 20, verse 2 and 3. It says, and he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. That was the time when pretty much the dark nations ruled and put Esau up into the caves, where he became a fucking caveman. He didn't know nothing about civilization, you know, until the time came when, I guess, the Turks, when the Turks came in, that's when he started to be loosed. It says, and cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he must be loose a little season. So just a time period, you know?
The deception is this.
Yep.
That's the deception.
Yeah.
If somebody give me Revelation 15 and start at the top.
I'm
The
already
key point is in the first couple
Yeah, I'm already
verses.
there. So Revelation 15 and 1. And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of the Most High Yahweh. And I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark.
Uh-oh, read that again. Read
All
that
right,
again.
Revelation chapter 15, verse 2. And I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast.
John saw us getting beamed up. He saw himself getting beamed up. And he saw himself in the ships looking down at the destruction.
And over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name.
Now the word mark, what is the word? When you go into the root, what's the root word?
Okay, let me get
Well,
it.
you should know by heart, correct?
Oh, it's like, oh, okay.
But
It's
what
like,
does
yeah,
Quran mean?
yeah. Something that is implanted in
Yeah.
an incision.
There's a scripture where they actually
Yeah.
tell you that Acts, what is that, Acts?
17 is it?
Acts 17.
Yep.
God has not made of gold and silver, but one engraved.
Which they said that the syringes,
29.
the syringes that they use for the jab, is able to implant a
Oh yeah,
Thing.
definitely. You're already doing it.
Yep.
It's in was it
Switzerland?
Sweden.
Slap.
Go ahead.
The digital all. Psalm 17:29. For as much then as we are the offspring of the Most High, we ought not to think that the powerhead is like unto gold or silver or stone, graven by art in man's device.
Now that word graven in the Greek, the word there, if you look that up, the word there is karak, which is the same word in Revelation 13 for mark.
Right.
So so Paul was saying, our God is not an idol where somebody can engrave and make
Right.
a face and all that. You know?
Right.
So you got to use an engraving thing, whether it be a chisel,
The palisade, like you say,
Engraving tool.
a grave tool.
to be carved into.
I mean, you can't make it any more plainer.
No.
If you can't see it, you ain't meant to see it.
Yep.
Yeah, to back up Pastor what he just said, Yahweh Shai said the Most High is a spirit, and then good.
Oh Lord. Sweet.
Sweet
Sit.
Jesus, let me kill.
Scripture said that.
Well, he's an Edomite. He's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
fucking Edomite.
He's an Edomite, huh?
Yeah, that's why they got
You
to
got
go.
no keys, no money, no nothing, brother.
That's why they got to go.
You probably got a chip that opens up everything. Chip, boom, get some money. You know?
Yeah, Yahweh Shai said the Most High
Esau's
is
a fucking weirdo.
a weirdo. Yahweh Shai said the Most High is a spirit, and them that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. To back up what Pastor
I got a quick precept.
go
Pastor
ahead.
Charles mentioned the word idol. This is 2 Ezra 16 and 68. For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you, and feed you, being idle, with things offered unto idols. You know, because this is going to be their big achievement. You
Well, it's
know,
already hailed as a miracle of technology. The so-called RFID chip is hailed as a miracle of technology.
yeah, because it's supposed to replace the God gene. That's why they're doing everything that they can to cause that separation, especially between
Slaves,
Jake.
souls and slaves of men.
Yep, that's it.
Man,
You take that, you're going to be a slave of Esau. So let's go back to
if I-
Revelation 15. Go ahead.
Okay.
If I may say, Apostle, yeah, going back to what Aaron Russo said. Aaron Russo said everything is going to be on your chip.
Yeah.
In his interview with Alex Jones, he laid it out. He said, look, everything is going to be on your chip. Your finances is
Right.
going to be on your chip. And if you get out of order, so to speak, they can just turn off.
Turn your chip off.
Chip off. And now they got this thing coming on. What's those? Not the Android phone. What's the other one? The Apple,
the
the
iPhone.
The iPhones now, they're gonna have the ability through their camera to look at someone and to see, and read them to see if they're bugging out or if they're, if there's something wrong with them.
Yeah.
So pretty much they're making everything so that everything will be tracked online.
Yeah, Big Brother's watching you.
Yeah.
Yep.
The old Big Brother's watching you.
Yeah, they also got something called black lights that they're gonna start. They already set them up in certain cities, big cities, but pretty much they're gonna look like regular traffic lights. But what it is, they call them black lights. They see in the night, night vision, and they could track you to see if you got the
Luciferics.
if you got the it picks up the luciferase. Right.
Makes sense.
It comes up, fluorescent. And if it doesn't come up like that, that means that you didn't take it, and now they mark you. They can come after you like that.
As an enemy of the state.
Yeah. Revelation 15.
That's why it said they that got the victory over the beast
Right.
and over his image and over his mark.
Right.
The only way you can get the victory is if you're part of the elect.
Yeah,
That's
the
it.
mark. You gotta have the mark of the Most High on you. Ezekiel 9:4.
Hurt not the earth nor the sea till we have sealed the servants of our power in their foreheads.
Read again. Revelation 15.
Revelation 15:1. And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous.
Matter of fact, we're going to read into it.
God.
Because I'm thinking, I haven't read Revelation 15 in so long. Yeah. Go ahead.
And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of the Most High.
Yeah, the last plague is the missiles. You can back that up with Zechariah 14. What's that? Zechariah 14, 12, and 12. Zechariah 14.
I remember certain.
Oh, that is etched in your mind. Yeah. Zechariah 14 and 12, which says, and this shall be the plague.
Right.
And it goes
As a
into.
matter of fact, we're going to read that too.
I
Why
get
not?
it.
Not now, but
Okay.
let's deal with this. Go ahead. Go
It
ahead.
says, verse 2, Revelation 15:2, and I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire.
So you can understand that was the ozone layer.
Right.
We're going to be above the ozone layer,
Right.
looking down soon to Psalm 91.
Right.
Go ahead.
And them that had gotten the victory over the beast,
Which are the elect. And them that had gotten the victory over the beast. Go ahead.
and over his image,
And over his image.
and over his mark.
And over his etching, gravening, the thing,
The
Yep.
ool.
the ool,
Digital
the
ool.
graven.
digital ool.
Yeah.
The graven.
Go ahead.
And over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass.
Meaning we were flying in the air
Right.
in the ship.
Esau hasn't accomplished that.
Right? Go ahead.
Having the harps of the Most High.
I got a precept in the back.
ahead.
What you just said. Isaiah 24, 14. Isaiah 24 and 14. They shall lift up their voice. They shall sing for the majesty of the Lord. They shall cry aloud from the sea.
Where you reading from?
Isaiah 24 and 14.
Oh, that's a damn good chapter.
Yeah, that links up with what you just read. Isaiah 24 and 14. They shall lift up their voice, because we're going to be praising Yahweh Shai that day. They shall sing for the majesty of the Lord. They shall cry aloud from the sea. Wherefore glorify ye the Lord in the fires, even the name of the Lord, power of Israel, in the isles of the sea. So we all right there.
The elect only has the name.
And what is his name? His name is Yahweh. His son's name is Yahweh Shai. We're going to be saying, Barakatah Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Barakatah Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. That's what we're going to be saying. And we ain't going to say it half-heartedly. We're going to say it with zest, man. With zeal. In that day. Go ahead.
Revelation 15 verse 3. And they sing the song of Moses, the servant of the Most High Yahweh. And the
What's the song of Moses is Deuteronomy 32.
Right.
Somebody go to that, please, real quick.
What was that?
Deuteronomy 32. If you go to the blue letter, it'll actually say in the heading, the song of Moses.
Start at the top.
Yeah.
Deuteronomy 32:1. Give ear, O ye heavens, and I will speak, and hear, O earth, the words of my mouth. Oh, it says up here, the song of Moses.
Moses.
It says, my doctrine shall drop as the rain. My speech shall distill as the dew. And the small rain upon the tender herb, and as the showers upon the grass. Salaki. It says, because I will punish the name, because I will publish the name of the Lord. Ascribe ye greatness unto our power. He is the rock. His work is perfect. For all his ways are judgment, a power of truth and without iniquity. Just and right is he. They have corrupted themselves. Their spot is not the spot of his children. That goes with Isaiah, what is that, 31? Or 30, they put a covering, but not of my spirit.
Yeah.
It says they are a perverse and crooked generation. That's why the Apostle Paul said, this crooked and perverse generation. It says, do ye thus requite the Lord, O foolish people and unwise?
Who's he talking to? He's talking to Israel.
Yep.
2/3.
So that's why only the elect is going to make it.
Right.
They said they're going to sing the song of Moses because they're not part of that other group that's going to get burnt up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A lot of you Negroes are going to get burnt up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Tribes, you're marked for death.
Done.
I don't give a damn if you helped old ladies across the street.
Right.
I don't give a damn if you gave Haitian people food.
Right.
Handed out turkeys.
Handed out turkeys. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's a scripture where the Lord said, "You shall be fuel for the fire, meat for the fire."
Uh-huh.
Get that.
Is that Isaiah 9:5, is it?
Yeah, I guess so.
You brought it out before.
Isaiah 9:5. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise, and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire.
Yeah, and I believe in the precept it says meat.
Meat.
In the precept here in the Red Bible, and I believe there's another verse further down in that same chapter that speaks about the meat. and
There's
fuel.
one where it speaks about the Lord say will melt them.
Oh, that's
Jeremiah?
Ezekiel. Ezekiel 22. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I
Matter of
know.
fact, there's a couple of places where it said they, what is that? Psalm 58 is one. There's a couple of them.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Isaiah 9:18. For wickedness burneth as the fire, it shall devour the briars and thorns, and shall kindle in the thickets of the forest, and they shall mount up like the lifting up of smoke.
Damn.
Through the wrath of the Lord of hosts is the land darkened. And Zephaniah said the same thing, a day of darkness and gloominess. That's Zephaniah, the first chapter. Through the wrath of the Lord of hosts in the land darkened, and the people shall be as the fuel of the fire. There it is. No man shall spare his brother.
Right, and the precept for fuel up here says meat.
Meat.
So it's meat puppets.
Oh, and that goes back to what Elder Pastor always say about the Lord have a sacrifice in Bozrah. When you have a sacrifice, you pile up that meat on the altar, and you set that meat ablaze. Yeah?
Yep.
That's your sacrifice.
So where we at?
Deuteronomy 32:6. Do ye thus requite the Lord, O foolish people and unwise? Is not he thy father that hath bought thee? Hath he not made thee and established thee? And that's that word there, bought, which means redeemed. That's the same Hebrew word that goes back to, and no man shall buy you.
And that's Bozrah. Bozrah, like I mentioned earlier, Bozrah, the modern day Bozrah is America. So when the scriptures say the Lord have a sacrifice in Bozrah, that's what it means. That nuclear missiles going to bring the fire. The people are the meat. You throw the meat on the altar. That's America. Boom, sacrifice in Bozrah. That's how the Lord speaks. He speaks in parables, allegories, and he gives, like the scriptures say, he gives it to his servants, the prophets. Amos, what's that? Amos 3 and 7. That's it.
It says, remember the days of old, consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee, thy elders, and they will tell thee. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. For the Lord's portion is his people, Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. He found him in a desert land, and in the waste howling wilderness. He led him about, he instructed him, he kept him as the apple of his eye. As an eagle stirreth up her nest, fluttereth over her young, spreadeth abroad her wings, taketh them, beareth them on her wings, so the Lord alone did lead him, and there was no strange God with him. He made him ride on the high places of the earth, that he might eat the increase of the field, and he made him to suck honey out of the rock, and oil out of the flinty rock, butter of kine and milk of sheep, with fat of lambs and rams of the breed of Bashan, and goats with the fat of kidneys of wheat. And thou didst drink the pure blood of the grape, but Jeshurun waxed fat and kicked. Thou art waxen fat, thou art grown thick, thou art covered with fatness. Then he forsook the Most High, which made him, and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation. They provoked him to jealousy with strange gods, with abominations provoked they him to anger. They sacrificed unto devils, not to the Most High, to gods who they knew not, to new gods that came newly up, whom your fathers feared not. Of the rock that begat thee, thou art unmindful, and hast forgotten the Most High that formed thee. And when the Lord saw it, he abhorred them because of the provoking of his sons and of his daughters. And he said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be. For they are a very froward generation, children in whom is no faith.
I knew that was, I just had to ask.
Shalom, brother. Shalom. It says, they have moved me to jealousy with that which is not the Most High. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities. And I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people. I read that. It said, they have moved me to jealousy with that which is not God or the Most High. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities, and I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people. I will provoke them to...
Chief Ephraim said there was no jealousy. Didn't make sense.
And that was the Israelite foreigners.
That what they used to teach at One West, the 7 used to teach, that was Edomite.
Right.
Edomites, it was the fulfillment of Paul.
Yep.
Paul.
And that's why in Acts, what is that, 13? It said that the Jews were angry that Paul and Barnabas was teaching the Israelite foreigners.
Let's not forget the Jews, because we was back there, man.
And yeah, they said with great envy.
Yeah,
So they were jealous at them.
Yep.
Hey, listen, we were back there, man.
And they were foolish.
Right.
They were foolish because they didn't know that they were Israelites.
That's it.
Let's not forget the Jews were the ones walking, acting holier than thou.
Right.
That's recorded in Isaiah, the 65th chapter.
Yep.
Now, when you read in the Red Letter Bible, on the subhead it says, the calling of the Gentiles. The Lord wasn't calling no actual Gentiles. He was calling the Israelite foreigners. But the Jews were going around, which there were a lot of them were hypocrites. They
Right.
claimed they were keeping the law, that they're zealous for the law, but a lot of them were found to be what? Hypocrites.
Yeah.
And then there's scriptures where Yahweh Shai marveled at the faith of certain Israelites. Could they have been members of the northern tribe? They could have been. Because Yahweh Shai said, I have not found so great a faith, no, not in all Israel. I want to see you guys break that down. What is that talking about? The Edomite? Or maybe it's talking about the other nations,
Right?
right?
The centurion that had a servant that was sick, that was an Israelite.
Yep.
The woman at the well was a heathen, but the Canaanite woman, the woman was a Greek Syrophoenician by nation. That was an Israelite. That was an actual Israelite. You know?
Because the pastor spoke about stumbling blocks. Now that's a hell of a stumbling block.
Oh, I got some, if I may, Apostles. This is Habakkuk chapter 1, verse 5, which Paul reiterated this in Acts. But this is Habakkuk 1 and 5. It says, behold ye among the heathen, and regard and wonder marvelously.
Who are among the heathen?
The
Israelites.
That's right.
Whether they knew that they were Israelites or not.
Yep. For I will work a work in your days, which ye will not believe, though it be told you. That's why St. Paul was like, look, he said, look, that office of going to the Israelite foreigners was first given unto Peter, but then through the Spirit, it was given unto him, because at first Peter, when he was amongst,
Matter of fact, read it.
Okay,
wait a
Acts
minute.
13 and 40.
Wait a minute, why would the Apostle Paul say, I magnify mine office? Was not his office the Jews? What does he mean by he magnifies his office? What does that mean? You guys got to know the history, man. That's the problem. You don't know the history.
if I could start at the 38th verse.
Your question, 38.
Acts chapter 13, verse 38. It says, be it known unto you, therefore, men and brethren, that through this man is preached unto you the forgiveness of sins. That man was speaking about Yahweh Shai. And by him all that believe are justified from all things from which ye could not be justified by the law of Moses.
Now, when he was speaking, you had Jews in the synagogue, and you had Israelite foreigners, let's say, that was there. They were listening. Just like we out here on the street, Paul and Barnabas was out there on the street too.
Yeah.
And as you read, it said in the next Sabbath, the whole town came out.
Right.
You know,
They
it
were in
was
the
a
Agora.
controversy. You know,
They were at the Agora.
Right, the
It was
marketplace.
exactly. Yep.
I got a quick precept, Apostle. This is Luke 7, 8, 9. I'm just going to go to the point. For I also am a man set under authority, having under me soldiers. And I say unto one, go, and he goeth, and to another, come, and he cometh, and to my servant, do this, and he doeth it. When Yahushua heard these things, he marveled at him, and turned him about, and said unto the people that followed him, I say unto you, I have not found so great faith, no, not in Israel. So the question
Talking
is,
about this centurion, which was
Right.
an Israelite, because they'll say, well, he was a centurion, so he was a Roman, which makes him a white man. They had Jakes that had high offices in the military, just like they got Jake that's in high offices in the military today.
Yep.
that's it.
And the police, you know,
That's why you got to know the history. We keep
you
telling
heard
you.
about a lot of police, they're gonna get fired
Because they're not taking
because
the.
they're not taking it. Yep, I think there's like 25% of them said they're not gonna take it.
Right.
You know, so there's a big division right now.
Yep.
And doctors, nurses,
Yep.
you
Project
know, people that are
Veritas.
in the industry, a lot of people are saying, a certain segment of them is saying we're not going to take it. So they know something now, whether they're watching us, and a lot of these police officers and doctors and nurses, they be watching this, man.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Leaving no room for all hell to break loose.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Dealing with this ministry of ours, there's no shortcuts, brothers. You have to know the history. You got to get into the history. There's a scripture where it speaks about a wise man becomes wise during leisure. Now, most people think leisure is when you have your fun time. That's not what leisure means. The Latin word there for leisure is to read.
Leisure.
Ledger, to read. So that's how you become.
You go to the records, you open up the ledger.
Yeah. So that's how you become snappy in the truth. There's no shortcuts, bro. You got to read. You got to study. You got to go into the history. You got to know what was happening back then. You got Edomites that can do that, man. They can go into the history. This king was ruling at that time, and then you had this council. That's how we're supposed to be. But even greater than the Edomites, because this is our history. That ain't their history. A lot of you guys are lazy, man. You're just lazy. You want to look for the short. Jake always want to look for the short.
Yeah, if you really understood the scriptures, you would know that the Gentiles in the New Testament were talking about Israelites.
Yeah. Like HOI, I'm going to just put it straight, HOI. You guys are just being lazy. You're just being lazy, all right? There's no excuse. You guys are grown men. You're not little babies, little kids. You're supposed to know this stuff.
Yeah, because the 7 went off.
Yeah.
They went off on certain things.
That's
They
what.
went off on Cornelius being the Edomite. They went off on it, man. It wasn't that time. It wasn't given to us at that time.
Right.
It's given us unto us now.
Yeah,
You
it's
know?
a mystery.
And what about discernment?
Right, give me what is that? Colossians 1 and Colossians 1 and 25.
Okay.
Does not the scripture speak about discernment? What does discernment mean? Aren't we supposed to have discernment, being men of the Lord, being prophets of the Lord? The prophet had discernment. You're supposed to know what time period you're in. You're supposed to be able to discern. A lot of you guys are just lazy, man. That's all it is, man.
Go ahead.
For Colossians chapter 1
Well,
verse.
really, they're not meant to bring out the whole truth.
Right. They don't got.
The
They were.
Most High didn't open up their eyes.
Right. Right.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And we're not saying it just to be troublemakers. We're saying it to confess.
Right.
If you really understood the, Peter said that ye may desiring the sincere milk, that ye may grow thereby. You got to grow. Like I said this more than once. That the so-called break seven back there, they didn't have the whole truth.
Right.
Yep.
The Most High gave more of the truth after the splits and everything.
And
The
then,
Most High gave the rest of the truth unto us now.
and then you had one guy calling us the police of Israel. But guess what, bro?
Yeah, we are
We'll
the
be
police.
that. We'll
We
be
are
that,
the
all right?
Yeah.
We're the police of Israel. The scriptures say to reprove and rebuke. If you guys are teaching some bullshit gospel, right, we're going to stop.
And we're not saying it for your sake, we're saying
Right.
it for the people's sake. They're watching different videos, man. You know? It says in Revelation that these apostles are liars. That's either the first chapter or the second chapter.
Yeah, the Apostle Paul told Timothy to rightly divide the word of truth, bro.
Right.
Rightly divide the word of truth. What, that only applies back then? It applies now. If you guys are going to teach the gospel, you better rightly divide the word of truth.
Colossians 1 verse 25. Whereof I am made a minister according to the dispensation of the Most High, which is given to me for you to fulfill the word of the Most High.
Oh, dispensation means what? Dispenser.
Right.
You know, dispense a certain amount to one person, dispense another amount to another person.
A portion.
Some Some
Right.
get big portions, some get small
Right.
portions.
Right.
Jude got a small portion.
Yep.
Obadiah got a small portion.
Yep.
Isaiah got a big portion.
It is
Jeremiah
divided
got
unto them by
right.
line.
So the portion that the seven got
Right.
was a lot, but they didn't get the whole thing. The rest of the portion, dispensation was given unto us.
Yep.
And that's why you guys, so going back to HOI, not only do you say that the Gentiles are talking about the other nations, or that Cornelius was the Edomite, you're saying that the mark of the beast is John 3:16 in Christianity. Because the Most High didn't open up your eyes. The Most High didn't open up HOI's eyes to this truth, or the full truth. I'll say the full truth. The Most High didn't open up the eyes to the ISUPK, and the Most High didn't open up the eyes of the IUIC and many others out there. And you should really consider what we're saying.
Exactly.
If we're saying the mark of the beast is what it is, you should say these guys have been saying it for years and they haven't budged.
Right.
Now a lot of you guys don't even tackle it. You don't even deal with it. You stay away from Revelation 13, man.
It's a hot tater.
And Nate, anytime you go to Revelation 13, you never go. You go to the 18th verse, you jump up to the first verse,
Some slick shit.
you come to the 10th verse, but you'll just come close to like the 15, 16, 17
Playing
verse.
safe.
And he knows
You
what
ain't
he's
gonna
doing.
you ain't gonna change that, man.
And he knows what he's doing.
Like I made a couple of videos that you guys skipped the 16 and 17 verse.
Yeah. Playing it safe, man.
And listen, we're not here
Because
to...
what did Nate teach? He said that the 16th verse, and you shall receive the mark. He said, what does the mark mean? Great nations and small nations. Great corporations and small corporations. Well, wait a minute. And then he doesn't read the 17th verse. What does the 17th verse say? What does the 17th verse say? Revelation 13 and 17. You should know it by heart, brother. Exactly. What does it say? What does it say? As you remember. You got it right when you said the mark, but what does it specifically say? Go ahead and read it. Go ahead and read it. Read 16 and 17.
I got a quick precept question.
Because what did I just say before I told you to go to it? Nate went to the 16th verse, and he said it's talking about. Matter of fact, go ahead and read it. 16 and 17. 16 and 17.
Revelation 13, 16, and 17. And he calls us all, both
You know
small,
what? Start at the 13th verse. Start at the 13th verse.
and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast.
Who's that talking about? Who's that talking about?
The beast.
Thank you. Go ahead. Go ahead. Read on.
Saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. And that's talking about America. Isn't that that's talking about it's talking about America, or is that talking about Europe?
Nope. It's not talking about America. It's not talking about Europe. Try it again. You're close.
Yeah, get into it. Read it. When you get into it, read it.
You know what? What verse is that you just read? 14 verse. Go to the first verse. Go to the first verse.
Hey, there's some keywords that should jump out at you when you read it.
Oh, that's talking about NATO.
Nope,
No?
not talking about NATO. Because NATO wasn't hit with a deadly wound and didn't live. Read from the first verse.
So the first verse is talking about NATO, right? The seven.
No, read it.
And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his head the name of blasphemy.
That's talking about what? Not talking about NATO. It's talking about the Roman Empire. Go ahead, read on. You're going to see it.
And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear. That's talking about that's Russia right there, right? The feet of a bear.
No. That is talking about
Yeah,
Russia,
yeah,
right?
yeah. My bad.
That's talking. The leopard represent what? What does the leopard represent? The Greeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Greeks. Where's that in the scriptures?
Daniel 7.
Daniel 7. Go to it. Go to it real quick. The bear represents. This is talking about Esau's power structure. All right. You had the leopard first. Then at the end you had the bear, which is the Russia. That's the end of this society that's going to put the rest of its society to death. Which Russia was not a part of NATO or the Roman Empire. But go ahead and read on. Read on, brother.
Daniel 7 and 17.
Go ahead and read that. What does that say?
7 and 6.
7 and
right
6.
here.
Go ahead and 7 and 6.
Daniel 7 and 6. After this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard,
Boom.
which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl.
What does the 4 wings represent? What does the 4 rings represent on the back of it?
4 wings.
The 4 wings. See, I'm putting you on the spot. Come around us, you're gonna get put on the spot. The four wings represent the 4.
General.
Matter of fact, go. You know what? I'm not gonna tell you. I'm gonna show you. Go to Daniel 11 and 1. Woo. Go ahead and read it.
Also I, in the first year of Darius the Mede, even I stood to confirm and to strengthen him. And now will I show thee the truth. Behold, there shall stand up yet 3 kings in Persia, and the 4th shall be far richer than they all. And by his strength...
Can you name them? I know you can't name them. It's hard for anybody to name them. If I remember...
3 kings of
Can,
Persia.
yeah, but there was 4 altogether. Can you name them? The first one was Cambyses. The second one was Badia. The third one was Darius, because you had a line of Darius. And the 4th one was Xerxes.
Oh, slash.
Xerxes. Or Osiris.
He was in 300.
You're right, exactly. All right. So that's the history. That's the history right there. Go ahead, keep reading.
And the
It said
4th
the one that the 4th shall be richer than them all. They show you that in the movie The 300, where he was paying people off. The reason why them guys were selling out, because they were getting like gold, man. They can swim in that damn gold. They wouldn't get no little chump change.
Right. FRN.
They were becoming rich. They went from being a regular person on the Senate to becoming rich
They weren't getting racks, they were getting chunks
They were getting chunks.
of gold.
They were getting chunks.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Show this.
Just to show you that like a leopard. That's how fat he reigned. What within 12 years?
12 years it took the whole world.
Yeah,
known
and then he
world.
died.
From the age of 20 to the age of 32. He died.
Because he moved with the speed of a
Saban.
leopard.
Don't do that.
Okay.
Now you know you got certain niggas that say Alexander was an Israelite.
He was a wicked Israelite. Ah, man.
All right, so we got that part of the history, right? Keep reading, Doc. Keep reading.
And the fourth shall be richer than they all, and by his strength, through his riches, he shall stir up all against the realm of Grecia.
The realm of Grecia. Who the hell are the Grecians? Greeks. When did the Greeks come into power? After the Medo-Persian Empire.
Right.
This is how you know what's so beautiful about prophecy? That, as you said, it covers history.
Yep.
Because you can take that prophecy and say, yeah, that happened,
Boom.
and you name names on it.
That's it.
The scriptures don't always name names, but you know through the history.
Right. Then you
how we're
got
supposed to be.
First Maccabees, the first chapter, the first verse.
Which
names,
is actual history. Yep.
Yeah, names Alexander,
Yep,
names
that's
his
it.
father.
That's why Esau damns the apocryphy. Go ahead.
Yeah, like this guy Ridley Scott, when he does a movie, he's very meticulous. If it's a period piece, he'll
Research.
Yeah, Jake don't. Jake
just
Jake, if you're gonna do a movie, do it. If you living in the year 2020, just do a movie on 2020. Don't be doing no movie on the 50s because you're gonna botch it.
You're gonna botch it up.
Yeah, because
Back it up.
the word research means to search again.
Yeah, because it's already there.
Right.
It's already there. Go ahead, read on that.
And a mighty king shall stand up that shall rule with great dominion.
Who's that mighty king?
Uh,
Read it again. Go back a verse and read it again.
Darius.
No. We just read about Darius.
Darius.
See, I'm putting you on the spot, brother. Read it again. Go a verse up and read it again.
And now I will show thee the truth. Hold on. And a mighty king shall stand. Hold on. And now I will show thee the truth. Behold, there
What did you just finish reading? You just finished reading about 4 kings, 3 kings, and the 4th king shall be richer than them all. And you said Xerxes, and then you mentioned a movie 300. What happened in the movie 300? Who were fighting? Who was fighting?
Oh, the Romans and the Persians.
No, the Greeks and the Persians.
I thought
The 300 were the Greeks, the Spartans. That's before Rome came up in the
Before the
power.
Romans came on the scene.
Rome was the last.
Exactly. Rome came up last. Last.
The fourth beast.
So read that again. Read that one more time.
Second verse.
Yeah.
And now I will show thee the truth. Behold, there shall stand up yet 3 kings in Persia.
We already covered that, so you know what that's talking about, right? Cambyses. You don't gotta remember them names, but it's good. You look good if you remember. If you say Cambyses, Bardia, you can also call Smyrna. Smyrna, I believe that was a Greek. Was it Bardia or Smyrna? I think it was Smyrna. Smyrna. And then Darius. And you know what? I'm gonna show you something. Somebody go to Google. And put in Cambyses. Put in Cambyses. There's a guy taking pictures across the street.
Oh yeah.
You fucking doubles, man.
Yeah.
All we're doing is teaching.
I got Cambyses.
Yeah, go ahead.
They got 1, 2.
Cambyses the first.
Yeah, Cambyses the first.
Cambyses the first.
See who his father is.
Or Cambyses the elder was king of Anshan from circa 580 to 559 BC, and the father of Cyrus the Great, younger son of Cyrus first, and brother of Aruku. He should not be confused
Look at
with
this guy. This guy's taking pictures from over here. And now you know why we move around. You know?
That's right. He should not be confused with his better-known grandson, Cambyses II.
Yeah, Cambyses II. Go ahead. Now look up Cambyses II.
Cambyses II was the second king of kings of the Achaemenid Empire from 530 to 522 BC. He was the son and successor of Cyrus the Great, and his mother was Cancesdane. Before his ascension, Cambyses had briefly served as the governor of northern Babylonia under his father from April 539 BC to December 538 BC.
Go ahead.
Before his ascension, Cambyses had briefly served as the governor of northern Babylonia under his father from April 539 BC to December 538 BC. Afterwards, he continued to roam in the Babylonian cities of Babylon and Sippar before being appointed by his father as co-ruler in 530 BC, who set off to mount an expedition against the Massagetæ of Central Asia, where he met his end. Cambyses thus became the sole ruler of the vast Achaemenid Empire, facing no noticeable opposition.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
His relatively brief reign was marked by his conquests in Africa, notably Egypt, where he conquered after his victory over the Egyptian pharaoh Psamathe III, 526 to 525 BC, at the Battle of Pelusium in 525 BC. After having established himself in Egypt, he expanded his holdings in Africa even further, such as his conquest of Cyrenaica in the spring of 522 BC. Cambyses hurriedly left Egypt to deal with a rebellion in Persia. While en route in Syria, Eber-Nari, he received a wound to the thigh, which was soon affected by gangrene. Cambyses died 3 weeks later at a location called Akbatana, which is most likely the modern city of Hama. He died childless and was thus succeeded by his younger brother, Badia.
Cambyses, who came after Cambyses? Badia, right?
Who ruled for a short period before being overthrown by Darius the Great.
What was the next king after him? Darius.
Yep.
So he killed him. Go ahead.
522 to 486 BC, who went on to increase the power of the Achaemenids even further. That's pretty much it there.
Now go to Darius.
Oh, that was talking about the Persian Empire, right?
Persian Empire, yeah. Medieval Persian Empire.
After the Persian Empire was the Greek Empire.
The Greek Empire, yep. And then the Romans. Yep.
Before then, there was the Syrians and the Babylonians.
Exactly. Syrians, which the Babylonians are Syrians. You know? Now High Priest Ariel used to say, all right, brothers, shalom, all right. Now, Ariel used to say that the kings of Babylon were Babylonians. They weren't Cushites. They weren't Cushites. When you do the history, they were Assyrians. All right?
Darius now?
Darius.
Darius the Great, commonly known as Darius the Great, was the third Persian kings of the Achaemenid Empire.
Did you just read that in Daniel 11? You just read that in Daniel 11. 3 kings, and the 4th king shall be richer than them all. Now let's see who the 4th king is. After Cambyses II, Bardia, or Smyrna, Bardia, which is the actual name, was a Greek name of Smyrna, if I'm not mistaken. And then you had Darius, right? We're reading it out of the history, right? And we just read it, and you just read it out of Daniel 11 chapter. Go ahead, read on.
Darius the Great was the third Persian king of the kings of the Achaemenid Empire, reigning from 522 BCE until his death in 486 BCE.
Go ahead.
He ruled the empire at its peak when it included much of West Asia, parts of the Caucasus, parts of the Balkans, Thrace, Macedonia, and Paeonia, most of the Black Sea coastal regions, Central Asia as far as the Indus Valley in the Far East, and portions of North and Northeast Africa, including Egypt,
Now remember, the Medo-Persian, the Persians had 127 provinces. The 120, what would be a province today? A state. America only had 50 states. This kingdom right here had almost 130 states. So this was even bigger than the United States.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Twice bigger.
More than twice bigger. Yep.
Yeah. Africa, including Mudraya, Eastern Libya, and coastal Sudan. Darius ascended the throne by overthrowing the legitimate Achaemenid monarch Bardia.
Yeah, which we just read about. He killed him. Go ahead.
Whom he later fabricated to be an impostor named Warmata. The new king met with rebellions throughout his kingdom and quelled them each time. A major event in Darius's life was his expedition to punish Athens and Etruria for their aid in the Ionian revolt and subjugate Greece.
Athens was part of Greece. Go ahead.
Although ultimately ending in failure at the Battle of Marathon, Darius
Hold
succeeded.
up. The Battle of Marathon. Ain't that in the movie? That's in the movie 300. The first battle that they won, the stronghold that they took, was called the Battle of Marathon, in which the individual that ran back to tell the king that they defeated the Persians. He went down. He ran a little bit more than 26 miles. That's why you got a marathon today, because of the Battle of Marathon. And he knelt down and he said Nike, and Nike means victory. That's why you got sneakers called Nike. That's the history, man.
Then he dropped dead, right?
Then he dropped dead. And a lot of guys that run the marathon, they drop dead. And a lot of them, they don't tell you that. I remember years ago when I used to watch the marathon on Sundays, they would tell you, this guy died, that guy. They don't say that no more. Because, but no one could be dropping dead doing a marathon. Your body ain't made to be running like that, man. Go ahead.
Although ultimately ending in the failure at the Battle of Marathon, Darius succeeded in the resubjugation of Thrace, expansion of the empire through the conquest of Macedon, the Cyclades, and the islands of Naos, and the sacking of the city of Eritrea.
That's Kush. Eritrea is in Kush. Go ahead.
Darius organized the empire by dividing it into provinces and placing satraps to govern it. He organized Achaemenid coinage as a new uniform.
Achaemenid is another way of saying Persians. Go ahead.
As a new uniform monetary
But
system.
I want to get to the part where who took over from him. I guarantee it's going to be Xerxes.
Okay, that's the same. Yeah.
If you go to Darius, it should tell you in the Google, in the Wikipedia, who took over.
Okay, here, this is under death of Darius. A ruler under his tomb portraying an equestrian combat was later carved during the reign of Sasanian king of kings, Bahram II. Xerxes, the eldest son of Darius, and Atosa succeeded to the throne as Xerxes the first.
So did I say that? Cambyses Bardia, Darius, and Xerxes. And the fourth became richer than them all.
That's pretty much it.
So now let's go back to Daniel 11. Daniel 11. Read the second verse again.
And now will I show thee the truth. Behold, there shall stand up yet 3 kings in Persia, and the fourth shall be richer than them all.
Now, we already know what they are, right? Your eyes are open, right?
Yeah?
Now I guarantee you, none of them other camps out there could break that down. I guarantee you. I guarantee you, none of them camps out there can't go into Cambyses, you know, Bardia, Darius, and Xerxes.
Yeah.
So now read on.
And by his strength, through his riches, he shall stir up all against the realm of Grecia. And a mighty king shall stand up that shall rule with a great dominion and do according to his will.
So who's that great king that shall stand up?
There's Xerxes, right?
No. This is the end of the Persians. Who's the next? What's the next kingdom? You just read it again. Read that verse again. You said it, but read it again so you can get it.
Second verse.
Yep, second
The
verse.
second verse.
And now I will show thee the truth. Behold, there shall stand up yet 3 kings in Persia, and the fourth shall be far richer than they all.
Go ahead.
So that fourth one, that's talking about Xerxes.
That's talking about Xerxes. Go ahead.
And by his strength, through his riches, he shall stir up all against the realm of Grecia. He's talking about Greece.
The Greeks. So what was he doing? He was trying to take down the Greeks. He said, these guys are coming up in power. Let me take them down.
Right.
So now keep that in mind. The Greeks. Go ahead.
And a mighty king shall stand up that shall rule with great dominion.
Who's that king?
And do according to his
Who's
will.
that king? Alexander. Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great. Exactly.
Alexander the Greek, right?
Alexander the Greek or Alexander the Great, because he came after the 4 kings.
Right.
When you go back into history, who became the next power after the 4 kings? Alexander the Greek.
Yeah.
Read it one more time. Read it one more time.
Fourth verse, right?
Third verse. Read the third verse.
And a mighty king shall stand up that shall rule with great dominion and do according to his will.
That's Alexander the Greek. Oh, and by the way, Alexander, they say that Alexander was a bad guy. He was. He's a faggot. But guess what? He used to kiss our asses. He didn't tax us. He didn't come again. He didn't hurt us. He kissed our asses because something happened. He had a vision, a dream, that he saw one of the high priests dressed in white. And then he actually saw that same priest and he said, I seen you in my dream. And he bowed down to him. So he said, you Israelites, I'm not. He knew the power of Israel.
Yeah.
And another thing, when you do the history on Alexander, he spoke fluent Greek, fluent Hebrew.
Was he friends with one of the sages?
Yeah, which one? Not the.
Aristotle.
Matter of fact, Aristotle was his teacher. So who taught him? Jake.
Jake.
Wasn't no cracker, you know. So go ahead, read on.
Yeah, he showed respect to Israel. Alexander.
Yeah, because he knew that they were the people of the Most High. Oh, and the priest showed him in the scripture, oh, this is you. Like we reading right now,
Yeah.
he said, that's you. That's you
Yep.
right there, that great king. You know?
And said that he perceived it was talking about him.
Yeah, exactly.
He was no dummy.
Yeah.
By the age of what?
Well, he was trained. They
Yeah.
were trained.
He was learned.
He actually wept when he saw there was no lands to conquer.
I know where you got that from.
He actually wept.
You got that from that movie, right?
Yeah, well, that movie too.
He
Alexander wept.
wept because he had no more worlds to conquer.
Well, that sounds like some Alexander.
Yeah, he would say that. You don't got to research that.
Yeah.
You know? So go ahead.
And when he shall stand up, his kingdom shall be broken and shall be divided toward the 4 winds of the heaven.
Do you know what that means? If you don't know, that's all right.
What, the 4 winds?
Right. Read it again. Read that one more time.
And when he shall stand up, his kingdom shall be broken and shall be divided toward the four winds of heaven.
His kingdom shall be divided to the four winds of heaven. Read on, read on.
And not to his posterity, nor according to his dominion which he ruled.
Go ahead.
For his kingdom shall be plucked up even for others beside those.
Who are the others besides those? You don't have to know it, but I'm asking. The others besides him was what? His generals that came up with him.
Yeah.
If I remember, Cassandra was one.
Right.
All right. Seleucia was another, which took our land. That's why Antiochus came out of that land. Lachemaeus was another that took, I believe, going towards Elam. And what was the last one? Ptolemy. So you got the line of the Ptolemies, right?
You have one more, Antigonus.
Antigonus is a part of that too.
Yeah.
Yep.
I got something real quick.
Go ahead.
First Maccabees 1:7. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died, and his servants bare rule every one in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves.
All put crowns upon themselves. What was the number of the all that put crowns on themselves? 4. I just mentioned them. Lachemaeus, Seleucus, and Ptolemy.
So that
And when you read the rest of the 11th chapter of Daniel, it's all about the wars that the Seleucus dynasty had with the Ptolemaic dynasty, which in history is called the 6 Syrian Wars. Go to Google and put in the six Syrian Wars.
it says, so did their sons after them.
No, hold up. Let them bring it up.
Oh,
Hold
I
it.
think I got something.
So you got these Edomite Christians, they'll read Daniel 11. Oh, that's talking about the Antichrist. That's all they do. If they don't understand, that's the Antichrist.
Right. Yeah, everything.
Wait a minute. Huh? That's the Antichrist.
Yep.
Yeah. Who's the serpent in the garden? That's the Antichrist.
And they start quoting that movie, Damien Owen 1.
Yep.
He has 666 carved in the back.
That show you that these, and that's why you had a guy taking pictures of us, and these motherfuckers are watching us because they know we have the truth. They know we're the prophets.
And plus, they're ready to make a move on us.
Yep, that's
Which
it.
they did in the past, they're going to do it again.
That's it. So go ahead.
Okay, this is from Wikipedia. The Syrian Wars were a series of 6 wars
6 Syrian Wars.
between the Seleucid Empire and the Ptolemaic Kingdom of Egypt.
Didn't I just say that?
Yeah.
None of these camps, Nate, Han, and none of them, they can't break that down if their life depended upon it.
They going to the
That's
milk.
why they never, huh?
They going to the meat. They going to the milk.
That's it.
They don't even touch
That's
the
it.
milk.
That's it.
No,
That's
they
why
do.
you was a little uncomfortable when I asked you these quick questions, because now I'm shoving meat in your mouth.
Yeah, you can see
That's
that
it.
fire.
That's it.
You can see that
That's
fire
making me uncomfortable.
That's
being
it.
sparked up in it. He's like, yeah, I should know this history.
Yeah.
That's the attitude to have, bro. That's what we're saying earlier, man.
Now, let me say this. I made a statement on one of the last videos that the 7 didn't have 100% truth. Guess what? The 7 never broke that down. Ariel never broke it down. Why didn't Ariel broke it down? Because he didn't know how to break it down.
He didn't go into it, no.
He didn't go into it because he didn't know how to break it down.
There's a
I
lot
was
of
back
history.
there, so I know. You know?
Lot
But
of
but see, we can't take credit for that. That's the spirit of Yahweh
Spirit of Yahweh Shem
Shai coming on us.
That's why John wept in Revelation, the 5th chapter.
It ain't us.
So you guys should listen, man. When we tell you that Cornelius is not an Edomite, he's not an Edomite, man.
Listen,
He's
guys.
He's not
Edomite,
Edomite.
huh?
You gotta
Listen,
we're over
damn
you
it.
guys. We're over you guys when it comes to these prophecies, man.
It is, man. Somebody
We're
got to
over
do
the
it.
IUIC, we're over the ISUPK, we're over the HOI, we're over the One Body and the Habashai, we're over all of y'all. So you should watch our videos
And learn.
and at least consider.
Right.
We ain't just gonna make no statement just to make a goddamn statement, man.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
You know?
We ain't
Right.
getting nothing out of it.
And remember, none of you guys can break down Daniel 11 chapter. And that's a fact. 100% true.
That's, yo,
144,000%
brother, that's the spirit Yahweh Shai put on us. That's why our title is what? Great Millstone. The millstone is constantly working, man.
Constantly grinding.
Constantly grinding. A millstone ain't lazy, man. A millstone goes to work. That's how you made wheat and stuff back in the day. You had a millstone.
grind corn.
It is, man. So that's the spirit Yahweh Shem Yahshua put on us.
And
To
the
get us to bust
millstone
down.
can also be thrown on your head and kill you.
And Yahweh Shai is also known as a millstone. There's a scripture where it says, if you offend one of those little ones, it's better that a millstone be tied around. What is that scripture making reference to? Yahweh Shai. He's the first. That's why I did a video a long time ago. Yahweh Shai, the first great millstone. Right? He's great and he's a millstone. The guys that had the
And
problem
we're,
over that.
we're millstones after him.
Exactly.
You know? Well, he's a millstone. Go ahead.
I was
Yes.
just going to ask a question.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Is there a book that you could recommend that will help me to learn the history better?
You can just read history books, or you can go to. Look, let me say this.
Spiritual.
Let me say this. If you go to Google, you'll pick up a lot of history and common history in Google. If you go to Wikipedia, you pick up a lot of. You just gotta be well read.
Yes.
And I'm not really that well read, but
But
if
it's
I get into the spirit,
Yeah.
I'll read. I'll do some reading, man.
About the 5 empires? Speak about
Well, you know what you can do. You can. We mentioned the names. You can go to Alexander the Greek. You can do some basic information. We're not trying to make ourselves historians. You don't got to know every aspect, but you got to know a little bit of it in order. So now this increased your faith. You know why? Because you read it in Daniel 11, and went into the secular history, and it matched perfectly, didn't it? So that's wow, man. This is the truth.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, 'cause it's all prophecy.
That's it.
it's all prophecy.
Brother,
man.
it's spiritual. That's like asking Prince back in the day, why did he do the music that he did from such a young age? It was in him. It's spiritual. We
Yeah,
get-
because he was Amadeus in another life.
Exactly.
The music was already in him.
So we're just coming back to do what we did back then. Guess what? If you were a scholar back then, you're gonna come back in this life and be a scholar all over again. It's spiritual.
Isaiah, that's why some people can get into it and find it,
Excited.
exciting, and other people find it boring,
Boring.
because it's not in them.
It's not. They can't. You can't fake it.
Yeah.
Either you get into it or you
Like
don't.
I can show you something right now that if I went into it and I linked it with the scriptures, you'll say, "Oh shit." Matter of fact, let me see if I can do it. Go to, I believe, go to Bernice. Go to Bernice. No, go to Bernice in the Google.
Oh,
Either Bernice or Laodicea. Let me show you something.
I got Bernice the Fourth, Epiphania.
And them spirits are acting up for this guy. This guy's got spirits, man. Go
I
ahead.
got Berenice the Fourth. Berenice the Fourth, Epiphania, was a Greek princess and queen of the Ptolemaic dynasty.
Okay, keep reading. Keep
From
reading.
58 to 55 BC, Berenice the Fourth ruled Egypt during the political exile of her father, Ptolemy the 12th, Alotes to Rome.
No, you know what? You know what? Give
Bernice
me.
the second of Egypt.
Yeah, what
We got
does that say?
Berenice Wikipedia. Berenice, the ancient Macedonian form of the Attic Greek. Their victory.
No, go to the Ptolemy. Go to Ptolemy the second.
Ptolemy the second.
It's the same Bernice that's in Acts.
No. Different people.
Ptolemy the second, Philadelphus. It says he was the son of Ptolemy the first, the Macedonian Greek general. Alexander the Great founded the Ptolemaic kingdom after the death of Alexander, and Queen Bernice the first, originally from Macedon in northern Greece.
We're focusing on Bernice
first.
and
Ptolemy
Ptolemy
the second.
the second. But what was the solution counterpart?
Predecessor, successor. Let's see. Let me go to Bernice.
Bear with us.
We got a quick precept while we're
Go
waiting.
ahead. Go ahead.
2 Timothy.
It speaks about how Bernice was that Seleucus the second?
There's a lot of marriages of Tony II.
I don't want that. You know what? Go to the death of Seleucus the second.
Seleucus II.
Yeah,
The
this
death
is,
of Seleucus the second.
yeah, this is in reference to what we're talking about, not being lazy and studying and researching. This is what the Apostle Paul told Timothy. 2 Timothy 2:14. I'll start there. Of these things, put them in remembrance. So this is Apostle Paul speaking to Timothy, right? Giving him a charge. Of these things, put them in remembrance, charging them before the Lord, that they strive not about words to no profit, but to the subverting of the hearers. Then it goes on to say, study to show thyself approved unto the Most High, a workman that, so this is work, right? And there's no shortcuts. There's no shortcuts to this work, right? It says,
Did you find anything?
I got his wife was Laodice II.
That's what I want. Give me the history on that.
Okay.
okay, I'll just finish reading the verse real quick. Study to show thyself approved unto the Heavenly Father, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. But shun profane and vain babblings, for they will increase unto more ungodliness.
No.
That's pretty much it.
You got it out?
Seleucus II Callinicus. It says,
That's his wife is Laodice, right?
the second, yep.
Okay, just go ahead, read now.
All right, this is was a ruler of the Hellenistic Seleucid Empire who reigned from 246 BC to 225 BC, faced with multiple enemies on various fronts and not always successfully militarily. His reign was a time of great turmoil and fragmentation for the Seleucid Empire before its eventual restoration under his second son and eventually successor, Antiochus III. So it says his wife was Laodice II. Accession and invasion. It says that, let's see, his successor was Seleucus III Ceraunus. Did you want coming to the throne or
At his death.
the death of
It was Laodice that set him up and Bernice.
okay. Death and succession. Before he could launch this invasion, Seleucus died unexpectedly in 225 BC as a result of a fall from his horse. He was succeeded firstly by his eldest son Alexander, who took the name Seleucus III, and later by a younger son, Antiochus III the Great in 222 BC. And that's all they have on it.
Yeah, if you go to regular Google on the web, it'll show you about Bernice. As a matter of fact, keep reading in Daniel 11. This is just a little history, and then we're going to get back into the scriptures.
So the Seleucid Empire was founded by Alexander the Great.
Exactly, the fort that was broken up,
Right. Okay.
which is, secular history. Keep reading Daniel 11.
Go back to Daniel 11.
Go back to Daniel 11 where you left off.
Start at 4.
Yeah.
And when he shall stand up, his kingdom shall be broken and shall be divided toward the four winds of heaven, and not to his posterity, nor according to his dominion which he ruled. For his kingdom shall be plucked up, even for others beside those. And the king of the south shall be strong in the one of his princes, and he shall be strong above him, and have dominion his dominion shall be a great dominion.
That's Ptolemy, Ptolemy Sala, which Sala means savior. That's the first Ptolemy. These guys are Edomites dressing up like they were Egyptians.
Right.
That's why you got certain scholars say, oh, the Egyptians are white. Yeah, the Egyptians were white when the Ptolemies came into power.
I got something.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is Bernice, Seleucid queen. It says, was the daughter of Ptolemy II, Philadelphus, of his first wife, Arsinoe I of Egypt. Around 252 BC, following the peace agreement of 253 BC between Antiochus and Ptolemy to end the Second Syrian War, she married the Seleucid monarch Antiochus II Theos.
Antiochus II Theos. She married, but who was he married to?
Who
Laodicea.
who divorced his wife Laodicea I and transferred the succession to Bernice's children.
And that was a power move on the side of the Ptolemaic dynasty. All right, read that again, please.
Con. It says around 252 BC, following the peace agreement of 253 BC,
The peace was between who?
the
The Seleucid dynasty and the Ptolemaic dynasty. Go ahead.
between Antiochus and Ptolemy to end the Second Syrian War. She married the Seleucid monarch Antiochus II Theos, who divorced his wife Laodicea I and transferred the succession to Bernice's children.
Oh, you mean she didn't marry for love?
Yeah, because her father put her up to that.
That's
You know?
it.
Well, that's what marriage was for back then.
That's it.
Marriages
That's
was
it.
for
That's
to
it.
make, yeah.
That's it. But watch what Laodicea is going to do. And then I'm going to read it in Daniel 11. Go ahead.
In 246 BC, when Ptolemy died, Antiochus II took up again with his first wife Laodicea. Antiochus died shortly thereafter. Many suspect from poisoning Queen Bernice claimed the regency for her infant son Antiochus. However, she and her son were both killed by Laodicea.
Laodice was behind killing all of them. Her husband, Bernice, and Bernice's son, because he was going to be next in line to be a king. So Laodice said, man, first of all, bitch, you go ahead.
It says, Bernice's brother, Ptolemy III Euergetes, succeeded their father and set about to avenge his sister's murder by invading Syria and having Laodicea killed. This is also mentioned in the book of Daniel 11 and 6.
Hold up, wait a minute.
Hold it now.
Hold up now.
Stop the
Wait a
presses.
minute now. Even Esau knows. Daniel 11 and what?
6.
So read 6. Daniel 11 and 6.
And in the end of years they shall join themselves together for the king's daughter.
Who's the king's daughter? Bernice. What did Antiochus do? Divorce Laodicea to get with the king's wife.
Right, to make that lead.
To make that lead, that money move. Go ahead.
And that's what
That power move.
a lot of times that's what marriages was about. It had nothing to do with
In the ancient world, you didn't just, oh, I like that guy. He's
Yeah.
so cute. He looked like Michael Jackson. No. The father's looking at the guy that got, oh, he got a lot of money.
right.
I'm going to have my daughter marry that man or the man's son.
Right.
Arranged marriages. Why did they call it arranged marriages?
Because they were arranged.
Because you're gonna put it because they were arranged.
Now,
with that one,
celebrities and all that.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah,
You ain't gonna have no woman that's a queen
Right.
marry a fucking homeless guy on the
right.
street.
It was
Right.
a power move.
It was a power move.
Yeah.
That's what marriages were about. Not
Makes
They call them
sense.
science.
Yeah.
Science. The super rich, the Rothschilds and them, they married among each other.
right.
Right.
The Oppenheimers are mingled with the Rothschilds are mingled with the Schiffs. And when you read about the Schiff, they married each other, man.
Money marries money.
Money marries money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. That's
Well, that's how it was done back. Now, got woman wants to get mad because I love him.
Oh, I love him. I love the way his.
Sorry, how stupid
I
this is.
love the way his curls.
Yeah,
You know.
falls over his forehead.
Nah, no,
You got that baby curl.
The father arranged the marriages, man.
That's it.
Right.
And that was advantageous to him. So that's what they did. See, niggas now, they think a certain way because they're not from the ancient world.
That's
Exactly.
it. Western
If you
knives.
was if they took you niggas and put you in a
they wouldn't last a day.
fucking time
Machine.
elevator or something, and send your ass back there. They'll kill your ass on the spot.
Right.
Few hours,
They'll
they be
fucking
dead.
kill y'all. They'll kill you niggas, man.
The first contact.
Because first of all, you niggas are too effeminate. So that right there, you wouldn't make it.
Yeah.
Too effeminate.
Yeah,
Too
you're
sweet.
too dumb. You're too fucking dumb.
Sweet Donato.
This guy's crazy. That nigga everybody coming out. Look at this guy. Hey, go ahead, read on. Six verse.
Silly dog.
Yeah.
You gotta have your own simple
When dogs fly.
Go ahead, read on.
And in the end of years, they shall join themselves together, for the king's daughter of the south shall come to the king of the north.
The king's daughter in the south is who? Beautiful. Go ahead. Because the south represents Egypt. Ptolemy. Go ahead.
The south shall come to the king of the north to make an agreement, but she shall not retain the power of the arm, neither shall he stand, nor his arm.
That's the his is talking about the what's his name? Antiochus. He's going to be put to death by Laodicea. Bernice is going to be put to death by Laodicea, and Bernice's son was going to be put to death by the order of Laodicea. And Bernice's brother said, "I'm going to take vengeance on Laodicea because I know she did it." Keep reading, Doc.
Neither shall he stand nor his arm, but she shall be given up, and they that brought her, and he that begat her, and he that strengthened her in these times. But out of a branch of her roots shall one stand up in his estate, which shall come with an army.
Didn't we just read that in the history? That was her brother looking for vengeance to get Laodicea. Go ahead.
And shall enter into the fortress of the king of the north, and shall deal against him, and shall prevail.
Yeah, because there were wars back and forth. The northern king would win against the southern king. Then they would get a new group of forces. Then they would take. It was a back and forth. That's why they had more than one war, because nobody ever really got destroyed. He won war number one. His father came along. He got revenge and won war number two. So that you can see it, right?
Yeah.
So that should be a faith builder to you. You know? Anyway, that's it on
I
that.
got a little.
Go ahead.
This is under Ptolemy the Third.
Jump down to Antiochus IV and Daniel 11. I want you to do that.
Daniel 11.
Go to Daniel 11. Go to the part where, around about the 35th verse,
Okay.
go to the part where it speaks about Antiochus IV. Antiochus Epiphanes.
You know what that does too? It gives you
21.
confidence.
Verse 21.
Go ahead, read it.
All right. Daniel 11 and 21. And in his estate shall stand up a vile person, to whom they shall not give the honor of the kingdom.
That vile person is Antiochus IV. Go ahead.
And he shall come in peaceably and obtain the kingdom by flatteries. And with the arms of a flood shall they be overthrown from before him.
Oh, that's another scripture proving the flood.
It's
really
armies. It's armies.
Yeah.
Yep. Go ahead.
It says, and shall be broken, yea, also the prince of the covenant. And after the league made with him, he shall work deceitfully, for he shall come up and shall become strong with a small people.
And by the way, Esau always works deceitfully. Anything that Esau is giving you as a benefit, there's strings attached to it. You know?
Yep.
Go ahead.
It says, he
So
shall.
when they tell you to take the yab, that's why a lot of people ain't taking it, especially doctors and nurses and police officers and military people, because they know that there's something behind that. They're deceiving us.
Yeah. Something nefarious.
Something nefarious.
Yep.
Go ahead.
It says, he shall enter peaceably even upon the fattest places of the province. And he shall do that which his fathers have not done, nor his fathers' fathers. He shall scatter among them the prey and spoil the riches. Yea, and he shall forecast his devices against the strongholds even for a time. And he shall stir up his power and his courage against the king of the south with a great army.
Antiochus shall stir up his power against the king of the south, which is the king, the Ptolemy. Go ahead.
By the way, good time to note, what's her title she had? Cleopatra. A lot of jakes think that
She was an
Cleopatra-
Edomite.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of jakes think Cleopatra was this mighty so-called black woman. Cleopatra, which was a title, was actually the daughter of Ptolemy. So Cleopatra was an Edomite, a big-nosed Edomite. And there was a succession of Cleopatra.
That's right. Even during the time of the Roman Empire.
Is it-
Mark Antony.
Can I read this real
Go
quick?
ahead.
First Maccabees 1:16. Now when the kingdom was established before Antiochus, he thought to reign over Egypt, that he might have the dominion of 2 realms. Wherefore he entered into Egypt with a great multitude, and with chariots and elephants and horsemen and a great navy, and made war against Ptolemy, king of Egypt. But Ptolemy was afraid of him and fled, and many were wounded to death.
Yeah,
There you go.
even in the history, right? Even the headdress that the pharaohs wore,
Yeah.
the new pharaohs, the headdress, the king of the south wore a different headdress than the king of the north.
Right. They had two separate. Yeah.
They had two, the headdress, yeah.
It says, and he shall, back in Daniel 11:25, and he shall stir up his power and his courage against the king of the south with a great army. We just read about that in Apocrypha. And the king of the south shall be stirred up to battle with a very great and mighty army. But he shall not stand, for they shall forecast devices against him. Yea, they that feed of the portion of his meat shall destroy him, and his army shall overflow, and many shall fall down slain.
There was a lot of infighting too. They were killing each other. Go ahead.
And both these kings' hearts shall be to do mischief, and they shall speak lies at one table, but it shall not prosper, for yet the end shall be at the time appointed. Then shall he return into his land with great riches, and his heart shall be against the holy covenant, and he shall do exploits and return to his own
the
land.
Holy Covenant represents the Israelites. Go ahead.
At the time appointed he shall return and come toward the south, but it shall not be as the former or the latter. For the ships of Kittim shall come against him. Therefore he shall be grieved and return and have indignation against the holy covenant. And he shall
Read that again.
for the ships of Kittim shall come against him. Therefore he shall be grieved and return.
That's when you get the saying, circle in the sand,
I got it.
line in the sand. And this is the actual guy. Go ahead.
Gaius Popilius Laenas.
Read that again. Are you taking notes, Nate? Go ahead. Read that again.
For the ships of Kittim
Who
shall...
are the ships of Kittim? Italy.
Yep.
Actually, Kittim is really Cyprus,
Right.
which is under Italy.
Right.
All right,
Which
but
was
we
a,
could call that Italy, part of Italy,
which was a province of Rome.
which is a province of Rome. That's why it's called Italy. Kittim. Go ahead.
For the ships of Kittim shall come against him, therefore he shall be grieved and return and have indignation against the holy covenant. So shall he do. He shall even return and have intelligence with them that forsake the holy covenant.
Yeah, them sellouts.
Yeah,
Right,
so-
in
You had sellouts back then, you got sellouts now.
God,
that links up with, there was wicked, First Maccabees.
Yep.
Yeah.
there were wicked men in Israel.
Yeah.
So go ahead, read the
All right,
penis.
this is Gaius Popilius Laenas.
Say
Gaius,
it again, say it again.
Gaius Popilius Laenas.
This is what he just read about the ships of Kittim. The head admiral, the head guy, was this guy right here.
This is history
This is it.
outside of the scriptures.
Yeah, that's it. That which shows you
That links.
that you can't make this book with any other book. Isaiah
That's it.
34. All this, the 42 negative confession, this bullshit, the Hebrew Negas, all that shit, the Quran,
Yeah.
none of those books. Look, not one of those them ancient prophetic, biblical, whatever holy books. Not one of them mentions where America is. They
Right.
don't mention who the white man is.
Right.
They don't mention who Jake is. They speak about Jake.
Yep.
They don't mention the mark.
Right.
They don't. None of them books mention the destruction of this place.
And none of them
This is the
mention,
only book. That's the only book.
and then none of them mention any of the empires that succeeded them later on. You know, like the scriptures speak about all of those empires from then all the way up until now to bring in the
Hey, these jakes in the so-called Kemetic black community, when you go to their origins and you say you had gods, at one time they were saying that they believe in certain gods, and we questioned them so much that they said, well, those gods never exist. Well, wait a minute, then how do you know, you know, if you're a great people, a great black conscious people, who took you over? The white man, which is inferior to you? How can an inferior being take over a superior being?
Right,
It
right.
can't happen.
Right.
And isn't there prophets in your Kemetic books that say you're gonna come to a place called America? No, it's not in there. So all they do is they have debates back and forth. What do we do with them? We ignore them, man. It's nothing but psychobabble. You know? I watch a debate between this guy and that guy. I watch 5 minutes of it and then I turn the shit off. They ain't saying shit, man. And then they don't have no more debates. They just fight against each other. You know?
Oh, even them, they're in the scriptures, the debates at Mars Hill.
That's it. That's it.
They either gathered together, what the scriptures say, they either gathered together to tell an old tale or something
Hey,
new.
You know your boy, the former boss. You know, he came out. I had to kind of curse him out, brother.
Yeah.
Because he ain't going out, man.
Yeah, I seen that.
You know, you came with your boy. You came by.
he trying to find park.
All right,
Normally
okay.
when we come, it be hard to find
Oh,
park
yeah.
around here. So
You know what? If you park, as long as you keep your eyes open, the police don't come around. You know, so you gonna be with us today, right? We almost out here.
You should be able to park right in front of that red car right there. Just got to keep an eye on the car. So if you want to hit him up, let him know. Just come back around. Or he might be able to just double
You can park right here, or you can park right over there where you can see it.
Oh yeah, right
Park
there.
right over there. Yeah. As long as you got your eyes open, you're good.
yeah, we call them now.
All right, where we at?
Back in Daniel 11.
Reading
And
about Antiochus.
time. You want me to read that verse again, or just
You're
go-
good. Read it again.
Okay, this is Daniel 11:30. For the ships of Kittim shall come against him, therefore he shall be grieved and return and have indignation against the holy covenant. So
In
shall
other
he
words,
do.
you're going to take it out on the Israelites. All right?
Come. So shall he do. He shall even return and have intelligence with them that forsake the holy covenant. And that's what it was. The intelligence with those that forsook the holy covenant. That's how he was able. You know, it's always been like that. Jake has always been the one to help the enemy to take other Jakes down.
Just like Judas Iscariot had intelligence with the wicked chief priests, scribes, because he actually went to them. He said, "What will you give me if I hand this man to you?" And what was the deal made? 30 pieces of silver,
Come.
which that 30 pieces of silver, Judas tried to give it back to the wicked scribes and Pharisees. They say, "Lord, this is blood money. We can't take this." So they threw the money into a field, and the field was called Asaldama, which means the
money,
field of blood.
money. Yeah, blood money. And really, he felt guilty about it because he really wanted to push he said, if I do this, then the Lord's going to show his power. But he didn't, because he had to fulfill prophecy.
Yep.
You know? That's why he felt guilty. That's why his guts came out. You know?
That's it. He spilled his guts.
He spilled his guts.
Judas Iscariot.
Yeah, he spilled his gut didn't mean his guts actually came out.
Right.
Meaning when you spill your guts,
Yeah.
that's the
Sang
same.
like a canary.
You sang exactly.
He told him all his heart.
Yeah. Yep.
Just like
And he hung. Then he hung himself.
Then he hung himself.
He didn't hang himself and his guts fell out.
right.
Right.
That's another thing that the Southern used to teach.
You know, a long time ago, a brother from Boston did a video.
Yeah.
Adama, yeah.
Adama.
We got on him too, and he explained it. He said, "Okay, brother, you got something there."
Yeah, Adama. Shout out to Elder Adama from Boston, GMS Boston.
Yo.
It takes a deep mind.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So where we at?
Verse 31. An arm shall stand in his place, in his part, and they shall pollute the sanctuary of strength, and shall take away the daily sacrifice, and they shall place the abomination that maketh desolate.
What's the abomination that maketh desolate? What's the abomination that makes it desolate?
68 days.
Yeah, but what is the abomination that make desolate? What is the abomination? It's not just one thing. What did Antiochus do that was unheard of in the temple? He put a pig up in there.
Yep.
He
Sacrifice
put
pig.
he sacrificed a pig,
Yep. Put
and
up.
then he made him eat the pig.
Yep.
You
Set
know?
up the image of Jupiter, Olympus.
Exactly. So it wasn't
All
no
that,
one
yeah.
thing. Yep.
They couldn't.
He desecrated the temple.
Yeah, that's it.
Put a pig up in there, put Zeus up in there.
That's it.
The heathens coming into it.
Yep.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, they
And
had-
he destroyed it too.
They were popping holes in the temple prostitutes. Yeah. Those are all kind of. They were parading to praising Bacchus, all of that.
Oh,
Now this is the same man back here today telling you to take the yen.
Yeah.
Right.
That's him. That's Antiochus, man.
Well, he was legendary for his wickedness against Israel. He's the one that stopped the covenant of circumcision.
Yep.
He put out an edict for Israel to stop. And that's why later when you read about the Gentiles, the uncircumcised and the circumcised, that's where that goes back to. A lot of these wacky-tacky Christians don't even know that.
Yeah.
Why you have two terms, the circumcised and the uncircumcised. They don't
Yeah.
even know that. That
Yeah.
is-
Yep. And then back then you had the ones that were for the Lord and the ones that were against.
Yeah, they said to not at all to be a Jew. So they
Right.
taught their children, you're
Yeah.
not a Jew, you're a this, you're a that, you're a Greek.
Yeah.
Thus began your Israelite Gentiles.
Gentiles. That's a big, yeah. Yep.
Isn't they the ones that run in the gymnos?
Exactly. Which Jake loved to go to the gym, right? And they like to wear them tight, Jake dudes, they got their, you can see their rod, the women, you can see their ass. Our women are straight up hoes, man. All right, they're straight up hoes. I know that for a fact. I went to certain gyms, and you have Edomite women, you have Jake women, you have the Latin tribe, and all them women, they're in shape. They don't gotta go to the fucking gym. They don't gotta go to the gym. They in tip-top shape, but they come working out. Why they do that? For men. I went to this one gym, there was a Jake woman, and she looked good too. She had the spandex, and she was fronting with everybody out there. And then she looked at me and smiled. And I said, look, I'm not going to this gym no more,
Right.
She was just a hoe, she just jumped.
Jim thought.
She was a gym thought,
Yeah, they got TikTok videos, women showing me, and you look at those videos, all those women are doing is just showing their curves. It's always butt exercise. Every day their back is
This
turned.
is all they dots.
Yeah.
They dots. Yeah.
That's that
They
power.
dots.
Now when they lose their curves, they lose their mind. Their mind go right along with
When
it.
they lose their curve, they lose their nerves.
That's it.
Now they're ready to teach the Bible. They want to bring you to Jesus. Because
They shake like yanks.
they lost their curves. They lost their power, their real power, which is their body.
Yeah, this is not for women, man. That's why we had to curse out a bunch of women last week.
Yeah.
Women
yeah.
talking about going off on this. And I'm like, what? Bitch, please.
Looking for attention.
Yep.
Hey, what Solomon said, only out of all women he found none. Zero.
Exactly. That's it.
And out of the men he found one. So that's
That's
showing you
right.
the electric
That's right.
skates.
That's why you don't see crowds of Jake listening to us, man. They know where we at.
Because
And if Jake watches us on YouTube, they watch it to be entertained.
because in reality, a woman is really supposed to be in slavery. Because the word woman means servant. Where's the best place for a servant? It's a servant.
Anyway, go back to the penny, whatever his name is.
Yep. So Gaius.
Just go to the point. Go to the point.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. All right. Gaius Popilius Laenus. He was sent as an envoy to prevent a war between Antiochus IV Epiphanes of the Seleucid Empire and Ptolemaic Egypt. On being confronted with the Roman demands that he abort his attack on Alexandria, Antiochus played for time. Popilius Laenus is supposed to have drawn a circle around the king in the
And
sand
that's what you just read. That's what you just read.
with his cane and ordered him not to move out of it until a firm answer had been given.
Right.
the Syrians withdrew according to
Yeah, because you know why? Because what he did was he was trying to buy time. So he figured if he would have, told him I'll think about it, that he would be able to leave. But he wasn't able to leave, so that's why he drew the line in the sand, circle around him. He said, I need an answer before you get out the circle. So he was forced to give that answer.
Somebody do me a favor and go to Google and put in circle in the sand and see what comes up.
Oh, that's going back to that saying, this is where I draw the line.
This is where I draw, line in the sand, a circle in the sand.
In other words, make a decision. Makes sense. Like a lot of, to add to that, a lot of sayings that you have today that goes back to the story or an actual event that happened. Like, when people sneeze and other people say bless you, you know where that goes back to? During the Dark Ages. You had, you know about that. Okay.
God.
What's that?
They would say God, like GOT, God bless you.
God is a German for God.
God, yeah.
Why they said God bless you? What was the reason behind it?
God,
Paganism.
Gesundheit. God bless you.
It goes back to the if you had the bubonic plague, right? Now, if you got it, one of the first symptoms was sneezing. It began with a sneeze. So that was like the first symptom. So when you sneeze today, people say God bless you, because back then when people started sneezing, usually meant they would eventually get the bubonic plague, and they eventually would die. So that person would say God bless you. In other words, God have mercy on you. You don't get that bubonic plague.
A symptom of the bubonic plague. Just like supposedly this current thing, when you start coughing or sneezing, that's a symptom of the thing,
So that's where that goes back to. Just adding to what's being discussed.
So it says, line in the sand, a point beyond which one will not go, a limit to what one will do or accept. I'm gonna type in circle.
Going back to
circle in the sand. See what that says.
Yeah, going back to the account we're reading, which happens to be in the scriptures, between Gaius, what's his name?
Gaius Popilius.
It's hard to remember that name.
I'll just say Gaius.
Yeah, Gaius.
And Antiochus, correct? Gaius and Antiochus, the discussion between them.
Yep. So
I don't know why I keep thinking that.
The song is coming up for a certain.
Yeah, that's what I
I'll
see.
put line in the song.
See, what does it say?
It says a point beyond which one will not go, a limit to what one will do or accept.
They don't see Esau, man.
I got something.
Esau fell off. What's wrong with you, Esau?
It says, this is Wikipedia. It says, which is line in the sand.
Now remember earlier, we were going through Daniel 11, the first couple of verses. I bet you these two can't break it down. And these guys been in this truth. Let's see if they can break it down. We're gonna put you on the spot. We put him on the spot. We're gonna put you on the spot. Now, I bet if you can break it down, y'all are good. Go to it. go to it. Rambam.
Yes.
Also Rambam. Go to it.
Daniel 11:1. Also, I, in the first year of Darius the Mede, even I stood to confirm and to strengthen him. And now will I show thee the truth. Behold, there shall stand up yet 3 kings in Persia, and the fourth shall be far richer than they all.
What's that talking about?
That's talking about
If you get it, you good, man.
what's it, the 3 I forget the 3 kings, but I know the 4th one. That's Xerxes, right?
Oh, you got it. You got it. But you got it. You got it.
Got it.
But the 3 kings, it's hard to remember.
Yeah.
But when I went through it years ago, I went through it over and over again, so I
yeah.
never forget it.
Right.
So when I bring it up, it comes in my mind. The
Right.
first one was the first one was Cambyses, the second, Bardia, Darius, and then Xerxes, which is Osiris in the book of Esther. I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna give it. He got the right,
Yeah.
You did better than most Israelites, man.
You did better than 99% of the Israelites out there. So where we at?
Verse 32:3.
Better than Nate. Oh, if you wouldn't see this, like, what?
Verse 33.
Hey, you know, we mess around with Nate.
Yeah, because we know him. We got history.
And we,
there.
you know, we don't
Oh.
say that in hate. We gonna get that nigga. Nah, it was like a little, because we used to do that back then.
Yeah, yeah.
And Nate, when we was in that circle,
Yeah.
we used to always tell me that I'm lying. We used to always, he used to challenge me.
Yeah.
Now I would challenge you, you know?
Hey, the elder Barakallah from the LA camp, he hit me up this morning, left me a message. He said that he had a dream with Nate in it, and that Nate was teaching in one of our camps, and he was humble. He was humbled down. He was
that's
teaching in our camp.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
So
Wow. So he's definitely a man of the Lord.
Because we don't hate. Look, we don't hate these guys. We just
No.
hate these guys.
yeah, we
Well,
don't
with
hate
Nate,
him.
We don't hate them.
See them Johnny come latelys, they don't understand. We got histories, Nick. Yo, this dude used to hang out with us down at the where they buy the coats? Delancey. When we set up in Delancey, we had our tables there, the oil tables. This dude used to hang out with us. We'd be hours and end talking.
You know, we
scriptures
give him
and-
credit because he does teach. He teaches. He does a lot of teaching, you know?
Yeah, he's
He
into
just
that.
goes off on a couple of things. That's why you can't say he got 100% truth.
Isn't he sick now? Ain't he sick or something like that?
Well, he's getting better. He said that he thinks somebody poisoned him. Now, where did you go that somebody might poison you? You know?
Well, yeah, he's jet setting here, he's jet setting there.
Yeah,
When you really don't need to do that.
he getting all them jabs from them different, you know?
Yeah,
going to
somebody
Africa.
did
Them
poison.
jabs are poison, man.
Yeah. So,
I mean, we're talking about the devil here. We're talking about Esau. He's gonna have anything
never trust
good.
thy enemy.
He's gonna have anything good for you, man.
No,
Really?
no. Here's the devil. Here's the devil. We're gonna help you with this thing here. Please take it.
The thing.
Begging you to
First
take
thing I'm
it.
gonna say is no, I ain't taking that shit.
Right.
You
What's
know?
in it? Oh, well, I can't tell you. I can't.
No, go ahead, you can take my dose.
Even
Just
the
take
fucking hold up. Even the FDA, which is another bunch of devils, they're not approving it. If the
Fraudulent
devil's
dictator.
saying no, we ain't gonna approve it. We don't know what it's gonna do. Why in the fuck would you take it? Huh?
Yep.
One of you
FDA.
simple ass simps do that shit.
It's FDA, the Fraudulent Dickhead Association.
That's why the Lord said, Jeremiah 4:22, my people are sottish
This
children.
guy,
He's not a rule. He's not a rule.
eating a lot of.
I'm drinking that damn coffee, man.
Yeah, what does Jeremiah 4:22 say? My people are sottish children, right? Sottish means stupid, man. That's the majority of these people. They really are stupid.
Oh,
I mean, they're stupid. And I'm not saying that as a degrading. It's just facts.
Yeah,
But
Yohanan should have never made that statement that he made. He even studied when he made the statement because he knew he fucking sold out. He said, should I take it? I checked it, mighty good.
You know, check out the other nations. They would not come out with a statement, the black woman is God. Only that hard-headed so-called Negro could make such a stupid statement. The black woman is God. The Hamites ain't gonna say that. The Moabites ain't gonna say it. But trust that shake, boy. The black woman is God.
That's why you got to stay away from niggas.
Make songs about a D block in the cell. D block. Glorify that shit. That's Jake,
Yeah,
man.
how many people in history
Simple,
you know
man.
get locked up some in a dungeon and singing songs and glorifying the fact that they in a dungeon?
Yo, D block, my nigga. D.
I don't want to have nothing to do with D block. B block, A block, C block.
They're like
Tombs block.
there was a line from that movie Goodfellas, like the dude said, only dumb stick-up nigger men go to jail. Only dumb dudes go to jail, man. Smart guys try to avoid jail. They try to stay out of jail. There ain't no place you want to be. Come on,
Some
man.
niggas in locked up for so long, when you let them free, they want to go back because they're institutionalized. They love it. How the fuck you gonna love a dungeon?
Brothers, we're already in jail. This fucking flesh is jail.
But Jake want to go deep into jail. Anyway, let's get back into the scriptures. So we're finished Daniel 11. We damn near. No, you got to finish. Antiochus. Got to finish.
Verse 33. And they that understand among the people shall instruct many. Yet they shall fall by the sword, and by flame, by captivity, and by spoil many days. Now when they shall fall, they shall be hoping with a little help. But many shall cleave to
Who
them.
helped them? Who helped them? They should, huh? Egyptians.
the Egyptians help Israel out?
There's two answers you can give me. I'll accept two answers. The Maccabees and or the Romans. I'm sorry, brother. I didn't mean to do that. I put up my wrong finger. I went like that, I put it up. Take that back. It was the Romans. It tells you that in the history. That the Romans was helping Jake. That they, if somebody can get it, go ahead and get it, man. I'm not even going to. It's in one of the Maccabees.
Yeah, the 8th chapter, 1st Maccabees 8.
Yep. And now people read about the Romans during that time period. We don't know if that was the actual Edomite Romans or the Japhetic Romans. Remember, the Roman Empire was set up by Japhet.
Yeah.
So we believe that Gaius, we believe that he was a Japhet. He was the son of Japhet.
Didn't the Edomites start calling themselves Romans around 227 BC? So
that would be before that. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
So we don't know if they were Japhetic, Etruscans, or the actual Edomites. Because back then you had kings, right?
Right.
When Esau came along, they didn't deal with kings. The fourth beast was different than all the rest.
Yep.
All right, this is our 1st Maccabees.
Listen up, please.
1st Maccabees 8 and 1. Now Judas had heard of the fame of the Romans, that they were mighty and valiant men, and such as would lovingly accept all that joined themselves unto them, and make a league of amity with all that came unto them. Now I'm going to jump down to verse 17. In consideration of these things, Judas chose Eupolemus, the son of John, the son of Achos, and Jason, the son of Eleazar, and sent them to Rome to make a league of amity and confederacy with them, and to entreat them that they should take the yoke from them, for they saw that the kingdom of the Grecians did oppress Israel with servitude. They went.
Yeah, so the Grecians were Edomites and the Romans were Edomites. Why would Esau fight against Esau? Doesn't make any sense. We believe that those, like I said, we believe that those were the sons of Japhet, the Etruscans, what's the another name for the Etruscans?
Minoans.
The Minoans, the Etruscans, the Picts.
Right, what was the other? Oh yeah, Etruscan, you already mentioned.
Well, that's the history. The other nations always kind of showed favor to Israel outside, because the reason why the Edomites really didn't show favor to Israel, that goes back to the old hatred, where the Lord said, I will put enmity between thy seed, and you can't get around that. That goes back to Genesis, the 3rd chapter. So there'll always be enmity between us and Esau, no matter what generation.
Yeah, because I don't see the Romans, aka the Edomites, joining forces with Jake, so-called black people, to fight against other Edomites. Right. That doesn't make any goddamn sense. Now, there was a point in history where the Edomites were fighting side by side with Jake. That was during Titus. Titus in 70 AD. Because you had Edomites back then that believed in this truth. You actually had Edomites that believed that they could be saved, so they were kissing Jake's ass. You know?
It is heavy because the men that Judas sent, they actually had an audience in the Roman Senate. It says this. It said, they went therefore to Rome, which was a very great journey, and came into the Senate, where they spake and said. So they had an audience in the Senate house. Yeah. Judas Maccabeus with his brethren, and the people of the Jews have sent us unto you to make a confederacy and peace with you, and that we might be registered your confederates and friends. So the matter pleased the Romans well. And this is the copy of the epistle which the Senate wrote back again in tables of brass and sent to Jerusalem.
Tables of brass.
Yep. Not to mention, I'm pretty sure they had Israelites as advisors among the Roman council.
Yeah.
Because throughout every kingdom, they've always had Israelites as advisors. Let's go back to the Babylonian kingdom, right? Daniel, wasn't he an advisor? But he was an Israelite.
The Greek Empire, the Jake that you said that, you always mentioned
Peter's Mellus.
Peter's Mellus.
Yep.
You had Joseph in the Egyptian Empire. Yep. Moses, he was brought up as an Egyptian.
Because certain members of the other nations saw in certain Israelites, this man got an excellent spirit.
Yeah.
We got to have him as part of our council.
Hey, well, that's why it was a Potiphar. That was the the guy that set up Joseph, he
Yeah.
said that he was, that he was
He had an
prosperous.
excellent spirit.
Yeah, excellent. Yep. So he was prosperous.
That's it. Yeah.
Me and you used to work for Mobile. Didn't they give us the big runs?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
These are so-called Jews.
They're vouch
But
for us.
if there was some expensive shit,
Yep.
they would call us.
Yep.
Because they said, nah, these guys are honest guys.
Yeah, they're
These
different.
were two so-called Jews, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then the guy set us up and said that we stole one of his placards
yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And they brought us in the room. They said, first of all, we don't believe that shit. Because if you had did that, you would have did it already, and we would have got rid of your ass.
Right.
So the guy said he wanted to set up a meeting, be there at 4 o'clock. We was there at like 3:45.
Yeah.
So that means we ain't, you there before the time.
Right.
And the guy really tried to set us up. He there's an insurance thing.
Right.
And he gave us, I think he gave us like $50.
Yeah.
each.
Yeah. 50.
And back then, $50 was a lot of
A
money.
lot of money. Yeah.
That
Oh,
was
we had
the
this
early
one nigga.
90s.
We had this one nigga with us, cuz.
Cuz.
This guy was a
rid of
nigga.
Yeah, he was a nigga. We got rid of him.
We
And
call him
the same
Cuz.
dudes that we worked for, they set his black ass up, man. They set him up.
Lovely.
Yeah, because he was
Sweet,
stealing
lovely.
shit. He was stealing shit. Man.
Yeah. And they got rid of him, man. They set him up sweet.
They
Okay.
said, did you have some watches that? No. Then they said, well, the owner said if you get the watches, they're willing to give you $5,000. And all of a sudden he went, oh, I found it.
Gave up the
They said,
watch.
get the fuck out of here, man. And this dude was in Israel, man.
Right. He's in
That's
Israel.
the dude that said I get conned on a nigga quick.
Yeah, he said
They
that.
called him cuz. I mean, he was all right, but you could clearly see he's a nigga.
Yeah.
He's from down south. He had that southern drawl,
Southern drawl,
and
yeah.
you could see he was a sneaky nigga. And he got caught.
That was pretty much it on in the Maccabees.
Daniel 11.
No, Daniel 11. Let's finish the rest of it.
All right, Daniel 11, 24, 34. Now when they shall fall, they shall be hoping with a little help, but many shall cleave to them with.
So they're helping with a little help. We was talking about the Romans helping them out to fight. Yeah. Go ahead.
But many shall cleave to them with flatteries, and some of them of understanding shall fall to try them, and to purge, and to make them white, even to the time of the end, because it is yet for a time appointed. So a lot of those that died for the protection of the law, statutes, and commandments, fighting against them heathens, they pretty much that sealed them to be delivered in this time. So it says, and the king.
Their works do follow them.
Yep. It says, and the king shall do according to his will, and he shall exalt himself and magnify himself above every god, and shall speak marvelous things against the power of the God of gods.
That's Antiochus.
Yep. And shall prosper till the indignation be accomplished. For that is determined shall be done. Yeah, because eventually the Lord took his ass out.
Go ahead.
Neither shall he regard the God of his fathers, nor the desire of women, nor regard any God, for he shall magnify himself above all. But in his estate shall he be, but in his estate shall he honor the God of forces, and a God whom his father knew not shall he honor with gold and silver, and with precious stones and pleasant things. Then shall he do, thus shall he do in the most strongholds with a strange God, whom he shall acknowledge and increase with glory. And he shall cause them to rule over many, and shall divide the land for gain.
Now that strange God could be Zeus.
Right. At that time too, you had
Because he put the image of Zeus in the temple.
Right. Yeah. At that time too, you had Serapis Christus,
Yeah.
which Ptolemy. That was Ptolemy the first set of the sun. Ptolemy the second to be a god.
Go ahead.
It says, and at the time of the end shall the king of the south push at him, and the king of the north shall come against him like a whirlwind, with chariots and with horsemen, and with many ships, and he shall enter into the countries, and shall overflow and pass over. He shall enter also into the glorious land,
Our land, Israel. Go ahead.
and many countries shall be overthrown. But these shall escape out of his hand, even Edom, and Moab, and the chief of the children of Ammon.
Now you might say, well, wait a minute, I thought this guy, Antiochus Epiphanes, is supposed to be an Edomite.
Yeah.
Well, just like the Romans and the Herodian dynasty. You had certain people that looked like Edomites that were Edomites that didn't call themselves Edomites.
Right.
And they were looking at other people that looked at like themselves as Edomites.
Yeah.
So he obviously, he wasn't calling himself an Edomite no more.
Yeah, and that was talking about those lands. You know, those lands are the ones that escaped, you know, out of his hands. If, you know, when you read the
Yeah, because you had Edom living down there. Remember,
Yep.
Edom got split up. Part of Esau
Oh,
was up in the Caucasus Mountains where they lost the fact that they were Edomites. Just like Israel lost the fact that they were Israelites. Then the Edomites that were living down in so-called Mount Seir, Petra, they knew that they were Edomites. Because every time they had children, oh, you're an Edomite, you know?
Then wasn't I believe what John Hyrcanus II, he came in and like
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yep. That's in the history. Josephus. Yep. He forced him to follow the Lord's statutes and commandments.
He shall stretch forth his hand also upon the countries, and the land of Egypt shall not escape. But he shall have power over the treasures of gold and of silver, and over all the precious things of Egypt, and the Libyans and the Ethiopians shall be at his steps. But tidings out of the east and out of the north shall trouble him. Therefore he shall go forth with great fury to destroy, and utterly to make away many, and he shall plant the tabernacles of his palace between the seas in the glorious holy mountain. Yet he shall come to his end, and none shall help him.
Yet he shall come to his end, and none shall help him. How did he come to his end? Can anybody tell me how he came to his end? Y'all should know this.
I know it, I ain't going over it long, so I know like he was on his deathbed and he had like a dream or something like that, and I believe like a parasite or something.
Got it half right.
Right.
Got it half right. What happened was he was with his army and he fell off his horse with a sickness, and it was in his gut.
Right.
And there was a stench that came out of it that even his men had to get away from him, man. And he brought it away from the inside out. That's the account. Matter of fact, go to it in the pocket. If you can find it.
This is
I got 2nd Maccabees 9.
that's it, yep.
I'll read fast.
Go right to the point.
Okay.
Should be around the
5th verse, I'll start. 2nd Maccabees, chapter 9, verse 5. It says, But the Lord Almighty, the power of Israel, smote him with an incurable and invisible plague. Or as soon as he had spoken these words, a pain of the bowels that was remediless came upon him, and sore torments of the inner parts, and that most justly, for he had tormented other men's bowels with many and strange torments.
So the Most High gave him direct judgment. Right. You know, this wasn't an accident or ate some poison or got shot with an arrow. The Most High targeted him, and I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you slow. You know?
7th verse, howbeit he nothing at all ceased from his bragging, but still was filled with pride, breathing out fire in his rage against the Jews, and commanded to haste the journey. But it came to pass that he fell.
Because he wanted to hurry up and kill more Israelites. Go ahead.
But it came to pass that he fell down from his chariot, carried violently, so that having a sore fall, all the members of his body were much pained. And thus he that a little afore thought he might command the waves of the sea. So proud was he beyond the condition of man, and weigh the high mountains in a balance, was now cast on the ground and carried in an horse litter showing forth unto all the manifest power of the Most High, so that the worms rose up out of the body of this wicked man. And whilst he lived in sorrow and pain, his flesh fell away, and the filthiness of his smell was noisome to all his army.
He started writing from the inside.
Yeah.
Started riding from inside. What? Go ahead, read on.
And the man that thought a little afore he could reach to the stars of heaven, no man could endure to carry for his intolerable stink. Here therefore, being plagued, he began to leave off his great pride and to come to the knowledge of himself by the scourge of the Most High, his pain increasing every moment. And when he himself could not abide his own smell, he said these words, "It is meet to be subject unto the Most High."
What did he do? He humbled himself. He's asking for forgiveness. Did the Most High forgive him? No. Why didn't the Most High didn't forgive him? Because he's number one, he's an Edomite.
Yep.
Number two, there's wickedness that he did. So for you Christians talking about if you pray hard enough to Jesus, you know, you're gonna get saved. No, you're not. If you're an Edomite, I don't give a damn how much you look. You could be an Edomite, not take the Karagma, call on the name of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, standing on your head, and guess what? When the missiles come, you're gonna eat one.
You're gonna get
Or two.
You gotta
eat one.
preach it.
You're gonna be done.
Hebrews 12 and
When the
16.
missiles
It says, "Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. For you know how that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected. For he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears."
Yeah, because this clown sought the forgiveness from the Most High with tears. You know?
Tears. He didn't receive it.
Go ahead.
I was going to say that just proves the point that Cornelius was an Israelite.
Exactly, because he prayed and the Lord sent the angel down.
Yeah.
That was easy.
That was easy.
You got some Israelites who can't make that connection.
Yeah.
And the reason why they can't do it is because the Holy Spirit ain't working with them. That's why.
That's it.
They're fully. Because they know that they're Israelites.
Right.
That's good. They know some scriptures. They're out there teaching.
Right. The Holy Spirit ain't working with them fully.
Fully.
Right.
100%.
100%. Right.
I got a quick precept.
Go ahead.
Yeah, this is the book of 2 Peter.
Talking about Paul.
Slacky, I got it. It's the Lord hear the prayers of the righteous.
Oh, yeah.
Slacky.
There's another one where it says, "He that turneth away his ear from the law, even his prayer shall be an abomination."
I believe that's
Well, his prayer,
Proverbs.
Antiochus Epiphanes' prayer was abomination.
Yeah, because he's the one that stopped the law of sacrifice. Antiochus gave that edict to stop the law of sacrifice. Now he's going to turn around just because he was plagued, he's going to pray.
Right.
Well, wait a minute, you were the same guy who stopped the law of sacrifice.
And this devil, he was killing the women and their children,
And
the
their children.
baby, the sons.
Yeah.
From that circle, he was killing them, man. He was hanging them,
Yep.
hanging the babies, man. He forced them to eat pork. He did some
Wow.
manifold wicked shit. So the Most High really got his ass. And ultimately, the Most High gonna get all these Edomites.
Yeah. Another
know?
one too, who can bring a clean thing
out of
out
another.
of unclean?
Not one.
No, not one.
Not one.
You got something?
Yeah, 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 11. Let him eschew evil and do good. Let him seek peace and ensue it. For the eyes of the Lord are over the righteous, and his ears are open unto their prayers.
Yeah.
But
Well, it was obvious that guy was one of the righteous. That's obvious. Well,
It says, but the face of the Lord is against them that do evil.
shit.
Antiochus did much evil.
Much.
Much. So much so that here it is 2021, we're still talking about the evil of that.
To this day, more than 2,000 years later.
So you know he was evil.
And we can only speak about the things that are written because
Yeah, how much more things did he actually have?
Yeah.
Exactly. Good point.
Let's go to one more real quick. Let's go to Daniel 8 and go to the point.
Daniel chapter 8 and verse 8. Therefore the he-goat waxed very great, and when he was strong, the great horn was broken. And for it came up
Alexander was also known as a he-goat. Go ahead.
and for it came up 4 notable ones toward the 4
Said the
winds,
same thing in Daniel 11. 4 notable ones. Go ahead.
toward the 4 winds of heaven. And out of one of them came forth a little horn, which waxed exceeding great, toward the south and toward the east and toward the pleasant land.
That was Antiochus Epiphanes, which we were just reading about. Go ahead.
And it waxed great even to the host of
It's
heaven.
not the Antichrist like the Christian. That's the Antichrist. The little horn is the Antichrist. The beast is also the Antichrist. Go ahead.
And it waxed great even to the host of heaven, and it cast down some of the hosts and of the stars to the ground and stamped upon them.
We just read about that in the history. How he came up against Israel. He was killing them all. Go ahead.
Yea, he magnified himself even to the prince of the hosts, and by him the daily sacrifice was taken away, and the place of his sanctuary was cast down. And an host was given him against the daily sacrifice by reason of transgression, and it cast down the truth to the ground. And it cast down the truth to the ground, and it practiced and prospered. Then I heard one saint speaking, and another saint said unto
One angel said to another angel, go ahead.
to that certain saint which spake, how long shall the vision concerning the daily sacrifice and the transgression of desolation to give both the sanctuary and the host to the trodden to be trodden underfoot? And he said unto me, unto 2,300 days, then shall the sanctuary be cleansed.
Now, does anybody know what those numbers represent? That represents the time that he had power over Israel, which when you calculated, it was 6 years. When you go into the history, it's a little bit more than 6 years. So he wasn't in there for like 3 months and got put to death. He had power over Israel for 6 years and change.
Yep.
All right?
Keep on reading, Pastor.
Yeah.
It said, and it came to pass when I, even I, Daniel, had seen the vision and sought for the meaning, then, behold, there stood before me as the appearance of a man, and I heard him.
An angel. Go ahead.
And I heard a man's voice between the banks of Ulai, which called and said, Gabriel, make the man to understand the vision. So he came near where I stood, and when he came, I was afraid and fell upon my face. But he said unto me, understand, O son of man, for at the time of the end shall be the vision. Now as he was speaking with me,
The time of the end shall be the vision. Is not talking about the end like this end. It was talking about the end back there. Go ahead.
Now as he was speaking with me, I was in a deep sleep on my face toward the ground. But he touched me and set me upright. And he said, behold, I will make thee know what shall be in the last end of the indignation, for at the time appointed the end shall be. The ram which thou sawest having 2 horns are the kings of Media and Persia. And the rough goat is the king of Grecia. And the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king.
Alexander the Greek.
Now that being broken, whereas 4 stood up for it, 4 kingdoms shall stand up out of the nation, but not in his power. And in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up, and his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power.
That's Antiochus Epiphanes. Go ahead.
And he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people.
The mighty and the holy people are the Israelites. Go ahead.
And through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand.
The prince of princes represent Yahushua. He blasphemed the name of the Lord. And he shall be what?
broken without hand.
Broken without hand, meaning what? He got that infection in him, and the worms came out of him, and he died a slow, agonizing death.
Would that mean that he'll be back today?
Of course, yeah, should be. You're thinking it might be this guy, this devil Bible, you know?
There's a scripture.
All those devils, all those presidents, especially these last few presidents, all them guys are back. They were emperors back then. They had high positions back then. You know, Alexander was even back here.
Yep. Yeah, there's a scripture where Yahushua said to the wicked Pharisees, fill ye up then the measure of your forefathers. In other words, you're appointed to do all this wickedness. Do your wickedness, because that's what you're appointed to do. So we know about generations, so those guys are back to fulfill the measure of their wickedness.
Everything's back, just like we back. The prophets are back. The wicked are back. Esau's back.
So, yeah.
The various Edomites that ruled, they're back. Another good scripture to prove that too, I believe that's, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that's around about the 40 some odd verse where it speaks about the queen of the south shall come.
Rise with
Yep.
well, wait a minute, vocab. Isn't that talking about reincarnation? Vocab say the reincarnation is not in the scriptures. That's why it's been what? It's been a month and he ain't done a video. Pastor Charles telling us that. It's been a month and this guy ain't done a video yet. Vocab. Because he's losing steam.
Them demons ain't working. I said them demons ain't working for him.
Matthew 12:42. The queen of the south shall rise up in the judgment with this generation and shall condemn it. For she
The queen
came
of the south is talking about Makeda, the queen of Sheba, that visited Solomon. Go ahead.
for she came from the uttermost parts of the earth to hear the wisdom of Solomon,
Not to have sex with. Go ahead.
and behold, a greater than Solomon is here.
Hey, isn't there a scripture where it says, this generation shall not pass away
Yep.
until all these things be
Fulfilled,
So
yep.
we're in the same generation. This is heavy. We're in the same generation that was back there with Yahushua. So it makes sense for Yahushua to come in this generation so he can get his revenge for more than what they did to him more than 2,000 years ago. This is the same generation.
This generation that we're in is the same generation that was back there when Yahweh Shah was on the scene.
It makes
The
sense.
Apostle Paul and all that.
It makes sense because he said, I come not to destroy the prophets of the law, but to fulfill.
Right.
Exactly. And we're fulfilling it. We're
Yeah.
fulfilling it. Yep.
Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him. And they also, which what? Pierced him. So it would have to be the same generation. It would have to be. Because right now, as we speak, we used to say a couple of guys. I don't think the scripture actually tells you how many people pierced him. But we know he was pierced. So those same individuals, they're back today.
They're back here today. Getting the jab. You know, I know they ain't saying, no, I don't want the jab. They getting the jab. Anyway, with that, we out of here. Shalom.
Born to be elected.
It'd be like, we have to come a little earlier because